All right, we get praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim. In the name of Yahushua this day, John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they will testify of me. You will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, he will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Psalms 112, verse 5. Does a good man show favor and lend? He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in Yahuwah. This is where we stopped. I digressed at last night. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies. And the word for the focus of this time is established. It is samak. It is to lean, to lay, to rest, to support, to uphold, to brace oneself, to sustain, to revive, and to refresh. So you have samak, mean, and kaf, and you can meditate on that. But while we sit back and looking at refreshing and reviving, that his heart is established, or that his heart is samak, that it might be revived, let's take a look at Exodus 31 while you're thinking on that samak, mean, and kaf. Exodus 31, you can pick it up at verse 12. We're running all the way down on general principles. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak you also unto the sons of Yasharal, saying, truly my Shabbat you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahuwah, that do sanctify you. Who recalls what Shabbat by definition means? By strict definition. Simply means intermission. Means simply Sabbath, Day of Atonement, Sabbath year, week, produce in Sabbath year, or intermission. So when you look at an intermission, what happens with it during the intermission? Break. Go ahead and give me something for this Sean Pot tie while you think about it, while we round this corner. That should be easy for you, especially considering the context of the sentence. He said the Shabbat is what? It's a what? What did he say it was? It is a sign. It is a sign. Y'all know the word for sign is oath. So when you take that Sean Pot and tile for that Shabbat, what do you have? You're paired to the covenant of the Son. Well, we know the covenant of the Son is of no effect except for what? Testator dies. That's something that we talked about last night. But that is what is going to have to occur. See, when you look at Shabbat or intermission, you have something, of course, another place it mentions that you cease and desist. And we don't talk before the Sabbath is not necessarily a day for you to sleep all day. That's just a modern thought process. The thought process is for you to actually train your mind to cease and desist from your own desires and pleasures, because if you can do that one day out of the week, then you should be able to do it for 7. See, there's a different way of instructing. See, I haven't said this in a long time, but nobody instructs their household the way that Yahuwah instructs his household, because the elements of how he wants you to behave is contained in the ordinances that he gives. So when he gave you the Sabbath, you think, I ain't got to go to work. I can lay in the bed and sleep, when it was never really, that was not the point. The point was, what did he tell you in Isaiah 58 about the Sabbath? Oh, y'all looking bewildered and puzzled.
You don't call it a burden. You take delight in me.
You look at what you wrote, y'all. Now what I said, son. I'm talking about what the word say. Y'all, I just seen several people like, which way did he go? Isaiah 58 and 13. Isaiah 58 and 13. Hey, little boy, with the curly afro, with your mob man tracksuit on. That's your thing right there. Mob man tracksuit.
Yeah.
Look like one of the gangsters. Used to look like you used to wear the velour ones. Remember, everybody wore Sean Don tracksuit velour. That wasn't that much. That wasn't that much. I couldn't get you. That wasn't my flavor. No, you know the velour sweatsuits. You know what I'm saying? The soft instead of the polyester.
I didn't have one. I had a red one and a red blue.
See, this has some with the hood, but most of them ain't had no hood though. It had a zip up neck, kind of like what's on here. Isaiah 58 and 13. He said, if you turn away your foot from Shabbat, from doing your pleasure on my Kadash day. Let's look at Sunday. Let's look at pleasure. Of course, you know that's kafaz. If you can cease from doing the things that you desire, long for, or delight in, and call the Shabbat a delight, the Kadash of Yahuwah. He said you need the delight, so you need to call it what? Omeg, exquisite delight. Notice that the first definition for it is exquisite. Daintiness, delight, pleasantness. The word is oneg. You got ayin, noon, and gamal. So clearly you have experienced the life of the messenger. You've experienced what it is. That's why you take a delight in it. Remember what did Yahushua tell us in Matthew, that Shabbat was made for who? Made for man. The Shabbat, man wasn't made for the man wasn't made to get rest. Rest was made for the man, meaning that for you to delight in the things that, see, a lot of people don't take a delight in the Sabbath. Not in the actuality for what it was created for. Hey boy. Hey boy. I'm finna take him on the last ride. He don't know nothing about that.
I'm gonna take
it says, and honorable, and shall honor him. Shalom, baby. And not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words. So the Shabbat, in reality, is a day that you're sanctified for Yahuwah, not a day for you to rest, per se. Because all of us get told that when you first jump in the game, Sabbath for rest day. Most people think you're supposed to be comatose and sleep all day. You know what I'm talking about? Eating cereal and cold cuts. But in actuality, in reality, if you look in the text and the instances where the people gathered on any type of Shabbat, oh boy, they were locked in with this man all day. Now, of course, I'm not saying that I would have you from. If we was to be together all day, it definitely would be you be going through the text for the entire time. It wouldn't just be, oh, I just gonna hold niggas hostage and we gonna be here. Because I know of a congregation in Chicago where them boys get there 11 o'clock in the morning, boy, they don't leave till the sun go down. And they literally are going through the text the whole time. A whole 7-8 hours. Ain't no 2 hours and then the nigga just talking this and talking that. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you should know that from what? Where's the example of them gathering on the Sabbath and what they did? And old Ezra. And they say, boy, for about a good 4 part of the day, they went through the word. Another good 4 part of the day, they were praising Yahuwah. Then they went through the word some more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that if we were going to be all day like that, then that's what it would be. it wouldn't just be everybody sitting up. But you're thinking that it's just about, oh, let me get prepared to go do this here, so you be ending up what it is in Amos. When will the Sabbath pass that I may lay corn? You know what I'm saying? That means you don't really hold that as a delight, and you're missing the point of what the day is about, which is you to cease and desist from your own work. Because if you can cease and desist from your pleasure and take a delight in his pleasure one day out the week, you can do it for 7. You know what I'm saying? That's really the point. Hey, 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 hey. I'm not the one, boy. You're already light skinned. I'm gonna make you black. Look at you. Look at you. You flip flop. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You need to go to sleep, don't you? That's why you got boogers in your nose. Booger boy. Well, you phone it, boy. Well, that nigga crying like he is at a funeral, bro. I'm talking about his face ain't changed or nothing. He like that nigga crying like, yeah, they gonna cut that insurance check so we leave here. And I ain't got to look like this here. No. As soon as we leave here, they gonna cut that check. He said, verse 14, then you shall delight yourself in Yahuwah. I will cause you to ride upon the high places of the earth and feed you with the inheritance of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken it. So that is the key component of it, is that most people don't take a delight in him. Let's come back to Exodus 31. Verse 14. You shall keep the Shabbat, therefore, for it is Kadash unto you. Everyone that defileth shall surely be put to death. For whosoever do any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Now, we've talked about this several times in years past. Let's do it again. Because, see, I ain't talking about you getting up and going to work and getting paid for it. Of course, you know, you got a lot of brews that be like, it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath, telling dudes, you know, you can't tell nobody how to take care of their family. For me, that's the coward way. You're supposed to look a man in his face and let it be known. What does the law say? Not the word. Then you already know what to do. But I got to take care of my family. That's a personal problem. Now, what you choose to do is what you choose to do. But what did the word say do? Because if you think I'm going to tell you to go to work to take care of your family because you too coward enough to look somebody in the face and tell them no, you sadly mistaken. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell another man what to do. But I can tell you what that word say do. And I can tell you what I'm going to do. Because I ain't got no problem with it. You should never have no problem to stand up for what's right and be willing to take what comes with that. Hebrews chapter 4. Because if you're scared to look a man in the face and tell him you can't work because you observe the Sabbath, then you better believe, oh, you're going to worship the beast, cuz. You think that you would convince me that you wouldn't bow down and worship an idol that can talk and is alive when somebody compelled you to do it? But you scared to say that, hey, no, I'm not coming to work, bro. Not me. I'm not coming. That junk ain't hard to do. Sometimes you have to be a man. You know what a lot of niggas be worried about? If you got to go look your wife in the face and tell her you got fired because you ain't go to work because it was a Sabbath and you scared she going to leave, but what she going to say? Man, screw that bald-headed skank. She ain't working nothing if she get mad anyway. You know what I'm talking about? If she get mad and she want to leave, then tell that hoe beat her feet, go stay at her man house. And maybe she'll find somebody else to take care of her funky behind because I ain't going to go to hell to do it. Now, you ain't got to use them type of adjectives, but you get my point. You know what I'm talking about? Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 6. But for man, you could give me verse 2 because I just feel, matter of fact, just make it verse 1. I use all of it. It ain't going to hurt nobody. Hebrews 4 and 1. They say, let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left us of entering into his rest any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. See, that's always going to be the case. I go back to what we were talking about last night about his heart being fixed. See, the word is not going to profit anybody who don't believe it. I don't care what you read to them. I don't care what you show them. Guess what? Let me ask you this here. So the time of some of y'all done been here, you done seen some people sit who done sat in here ain't sitting in here with you no more, is it? And they heard the same word you heard, didn't it? But did it profit them though? And you know why it didn't profit them? Because they didn't have the faith in their heart for it to give them the benefit and the profit that they were desiring. He said, for which have believed, do enter into rest. And let that be known that I ain't saying that's for every person that's no longer present, but some of you know the precipitous decline spiritually that some people have partook in. You know what I'm talking about? Versus a once proclaimed profession of faith. You understand what I'm talking about? See, that's what I'm comparing it to, not where they physically located, but where they're currently conducting themselves versus a confession of faith that they've once held. See, some people hit you with, oh, I changed my mind. You know, you learn new things. See, that's nigga talk. You know what I'm saying? That's nigga talk. For I ain't never really believed this here. I seen something that was more fun for me. Like what I mentioned when he put in there with that lady talking about she was fooling with that witchcraft and all that there. Because it's like I told you the other day, it's undisciplined conduct. Like I've seen people say spirituality ain't got no rules. That appeals to women and feminine men. You know what I'm talking about? Because there's no order and no structure. So you can do whatever it is that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Just like what that word we read last night, for the lasciviousness, about being not bringing the price of a whore and a dog in the house of Yahuwah, you have no sexual restraint. You have no moral conduct. You don't have anything to govern your behavior. Because don't you notice a lot of people who participate in spirituality and witchcraft are sexually free? That participate in a lot of debauchery and defilement. They participate in a lot of lesbianism, a lot of orgies, all type of freaky stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they don't realize what they're doing and why they're doing it. Because when they look at you, see, I don't need the shackles of religion, brother. See, you being first thing they scream is you being oppressed. Oppressed is code word from a woman of I want to do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because with oppression comes violence. So you can't oppress anyone without violence. That's why when I hear black women say they oppress, you lying. Because niggas is not beating y'all up like y'all be talking. You know what I'm saying? And just like that brother told a woman the other day, you talking about how many dudes get abusing women physically, but how many women are abusing men verbally, emotionally, and mentally. That doesn't get tracked. Nobody don't want to have that conversation. But some of y'all how many of y'all in here done verbally abused a man before? You done verbally abused a man before? You sure? If we was to get him and ask him, would they say the same thing? You sure about that? I'm not being funny. She done verbally abused you? Callie, you done verbally abused a man before? Now, if we was to go find a man, I guarantee you there'd be one or two men in y'all past that say you verbally abused them. Because y'all shaking y'all head because what y'all think is not verbal abuse, you were actually being extremely abusive with your words. Because y'all don't consider that you being abusive to a man with your words because y'all think that junk, it ain't that big of a deal. But nobody don't really care how a man think or feel. Yeah, you can answer it. No, I was asking them if oh, no, she chose to get in the arena of warfare. So that's on her. You know what I'm talking about? Kira say from what she done observed, one of our sisters is gone from what she observed this morning. Probably so. You know, y'all know what verbal abuse is. We all in here grown. All us in here grown. Y'all know what verbal abuse is. Y'all know when y'all are saying words with a specific intent to be malicious disrespectful, hateful, and injurious. Y'all know what that is. And y'all know when y'all are emotionally abusing and manipulating men for the purpose of getting your way. And don't nobody talk nothing about no man who goes through the mental, verbal, and emotional abuse that women extend because they don't leave physical wounds and scars. That's why y'all can look at it and say, I ain't never did it. That's why I say if you was to ask the men you done dealt with, would they say the same? And they probably would. Because what y'all consider to not be abuse is abusive. Because you're looking at you a man, nigga, you could take it. Man, nigga want to hear that, John. Unfortunately, I forgot what we were looking at, but that's how a lot of women end up getting struck. That's what we're talking about, because I actually heard Chris Brown describe what happened that night with Rihanna, and that nigga said she would not let it go, that she continually verbally provoked the man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta wait. But a lot of y'all do that. Y'all are mentally and emotionally abusive, and you mess with the man, and he snap, and you turn around and talk about, you hit me. But you knew he was going to hit you. That's why you did it. So you could turn around and play the victim later, talking about he hit you. But you knew what you did to precipitate the fact that he slapped the taste out your mouth. Because that man was trying to leave you alone, but you wouldn't let it go. You know what I'm saying? You kept needling him and needling him and needling him. Especially when you're dealing with a man who ain't got no history of putting his hands on no women. Because let's just be real, it ain't too many dudes around here smacking chicks up. How many women y'all really know who were abused unprovoked? You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality of it, because we don't know. When I say unprovoked, this woman is not doing anything to just come in the house and just slap her up and beat her up. Now, there's niggas who do it, but the niggas who do it, they in the minority when all the cases of dudes who put their hands on women. Because a lot of dudes doing it, they're being provoked, and they don't know how to control themselves and realize if I feel provoked to put my hands on a woman, I just need to cancel them. No. But then you got dudes that just come in and feel like you made my eggs wrong and slap this woman ain't done that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas like that, those are weirdos. You know what I'm saying? And when I say weirdo, meaning there's some type of injury with you, or something wrong with you, and you're not dealing with it, and you're taking that anger out on another person. And you're not only injuring them, but if there's kids in the house, you're injuring them because they have to view it. You know what I'm talking about? But what I'm saying, when I say that, meaning mutual combatants. Because a lot of dudes that get in altercations with women, that's a mutual combatant. It just ain't, he just ain't in here spazzing out. That woman is giving just as good as she's getting. Some of y'all have probably stood up, I swing on a nigga. Nigga ain't gonna size me. You might have not said it out your mouth, you said it in your heart though. Some of y'all felt like y'all could whoop a couple niggas in your day. Well, you got a lot of niggas in your family. I'm a firm believer in this. I'm not saying you should be slapping no women around, but if you're dealing with a woman and they get to the point you feel like you got to put your hands on her, it's time to leave her alone. Matter of fact, if you get to the point that you feel like you have to raise your voice too often because she's provoking you, you need to leave her alone. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even that serious. It ain't even that serious. Peace of mind is better than that. Oh, shoot, Sean said his mama used to wail on his daddy all the time. Pops ain't never swing back. Well, you ain't have but one time to hit me, boy. You catching a Hadouken, and then you get out my house. I'm talking about straight up. You got to go, because you ain't finna sit here and beat on me in my house. Yeah.
If she was swinging, she'll jab. That's coming next. Now, I ain't talking about what else is.
Hit her with an iron.
Yeah. She's swinging. Yeah.
Shoot, she coming. And see, the one thing is here, right? And again, if your daddy would have taught you better, then you would have knew you ain't had no business fighting no man. So you ain't run up and fight no man and then expect lady rules. You can't expect lady rules when you're conducting yourself like a man. Because if you square up with a man and you throw a punch with a man, lady rules don't went out the window. Mm-hmm. Because now you've engaged in physical combat. Straight up. Like that's how you, as a woman, that's how you have to do that. Meaning you're going to have to be prepared to take everything that comes with that. See, every man in here know if he turn up and he square up with another man, he's entered into combat. He got to be ready to fight. He can't scream, "Oh, I'm smaller than you. You can't hit me." He can't. He know he can't do that. He already knows that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know, men know that if you get aggressive with him, he's going to get aggressive with you. But y'all feel like y'all can get aggressive with a man, but he can't get aggressive with you. Then when you run across a dude who ain't with it, y'all shocked. I'm telling you this because this is not how a lady's supposed to behave. It don't even matter. No, it ain't no setup. It's a setup if you allow a woman to push you off your square. Because if she's doing all that there, then it don't, you know what, baby? You should say, even if they did, if you did all that and you felt like that overnight time in jail was worth knocking her out, that's your business. Because at the end of the day, male or female, when you take the time to square up and throw your setup against somebody, you have just told this person that I am prepared for physical combat. Male or female. So if you don't want physical combat, keep your set down and your tone low. That's male or female. Don't be stepping a nigga, talking niggas reckless, and you know you don't want to fight. You know what I'm talking about? Definitely don't throw your setup. Throwing your setup the same as pulling a pistol. That's a threat. You can't threaten people and then be shocked when people respond to the threat. That's just not why I teach it. And again, when he's talking about hitting no women upside the head, but as a woman, you have to be ready for that. Because guess what? Every man don't play by the rules. I don't hit women under no circumstance. Every man don't live by that. Y'all remember that old clip from years back? That lady hit that bus driver. He uppercutted her off that bus.
Going to jail now.
You know what I'm talking about? But when that woman spit on that man, and all that, you take that, and you know what the average person say, he supposed to sat there and let her hit him and spit on him. He wasn't with it. Because yeah, you might, out of 30 dudes, you might have 20 that'll let you spit and hit them. But it's another 10, they're gonna put them hammers on. Huh? That boy Bruce said, hey, he said, keep your hands, basically, keep your hands to yourself. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to worry about that. That's male or female. But don't be around here messing with dudes and you know you can't fight or don't want to fight. Leave people alone. Yeah, leave people alone. That's right, Kier. They say equality go both ways. That's the thing. You ask them for equality, and that's equality for your black behind. Because you can't scream for equality and then ask to be treated like a lady. You know what I'm saying? Because you know why you're not going to get treated like a lady? Because you're not behaving like one. Do any of y'all feel like any women in your family taught you to be aggressive? I'm just asking because I wonder where these silverback gorilla hoes come from. You know what I'm talking about? Because I definitely grew up with a couple chicks. All of them weren't unattractive now. Ready to fight. Men and women. You know what I'm talking about? Like I said, not, I'll fight if somebody jumping my man. But we respect, that's a different type of thing. Go ahead and get beat up for me, man. You see they beat up, you jump on in and catch a hook, you all right, I'm buy you dinner tonight. But you got some, they coming through, they trying dudes on what's happening. Dude, ain't nothing wrong with that. We know this gonna fight. She gonna kick her shoes off. What's up? I can see her right now. She moving her set like this here real fast. I ain't mad at you. She's like, who? Michael, you'll fight for your man, Michael. You gonna get in there and get your hands dirty? You gonna get in there and get your hands dirty? You gonna get in there and get your hands dirty? Somebody jumping your man? That's that New York in you, huh? You fought a lot when you were young, didn't you? No, I don't doubt that because it's somebody I knew from New York. They said that they grew up angry because they had to fight a lot when they were little. What about you, Callie? Callie, you gonna get down there and fight for Stanley? That nigga partner who? Where that hoe at? How much if you gonna fight for Johnny? You already told her you ain't fight. They say a lady, you better fight for me, nigga. When you walking home. She said she ain't.
No, I'm a lady.
She said no, she a lady. She only talking like that because her hair curl and she got an auntie hat on.
She said I'm a lady.
You call what that good if he get up right here and you watching.
Get up, Johnny.
Get up, Johnny. Turtle kid.
Get up.
I know one thing, D better fight. When she walking home, she don't. You gonna sit there and watch them niggas hit me with a brick? Alicia laughing, you better fight too then. You fight. You ain't gonna fight. Oh, this ain't right. Let me move on, boy. Y'all boys ain't right. 4 and 4. Y'all boys ain't right. I said, boy, I ain't mad at you. The 3-4 niggas come up over here. Well, you going to see the medical examiner, boy. Just straight up and down. Come like D, go get your purse. Get the pistol out your purse. No, I can't carry the pistol, but she can carry it in the purse. You know what I'm talking about?
So how that works? She riding in the car with you that sister. I can't right.
Hands on the officer.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Hands on the officer.
Yeah, definitely. Outside.
Yeah, that's officer.
Because if she got it legally registered and the car ain't in my name, oh, Sean said his wife was 100%. She bumped. I ain't mad at y'all. Let me leave y'all. Sean, they ain't gonna fight nobody. You gonna let him get jumped?
She said absolutely not.
Well, you ain't right. You supposed to come through and drop them feet on the nigga head. Get off my man. You like Monica? I'm a lady. Oh, that what you said?
I ain't never fought nobody in my life.
Oh, I give you that. You ain't never been in a fight? Not a tussle on the schoolyard? Not a fight over a desk? Swing or nothing? Oh yeah, you ain't gonna hit nobody. Oh, that's a good thing. Now that's a good thing you've avoided violence. Because usually light-skinned girls don't avoid no violence. They get at least 2-3 fights in grade school. Yeah, because all the other girls be upset with you that she thinks she pretty enough. You know what I'm saying? They want to fight. Come on, man. Hebrews 4 and 4. He say, for he spake in a certain place of the 7th day on this wise, and Elohim did rest the 7th day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest. Seeing therefore that it remained that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached, enter not in because of unbelief. Again, he limited a certain day, saying in David today, after so long a time, as it is said today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Yahushua had given them rest, they would have not afterwards have spoken of another day. Therefore remain therefore a rest to the people of Elohim. For he that entered into his rest, he has also ceased from his own works as Elohim did from his. So that's really what the Sabbath is about. That you'll cease from your works the same way that he ceased from his. Remember what it says in Issachar? What it say about Issachar in Genesis 49? Who recall what that say? That's a strong ass couching down between two birds. He saw that rest was good. Let's see what word for rest is used over there. Then we go back to Exodus 31. When we got that, you got Munkah, if you recall. Resting place, rest or quietness. Comfortable, ease, quiet, an abode. Peacefully. We see that peace is good. To be still is to be good. And of course, y'all know the famous song, he leave me behind, still leave me by still waters. Let's go back to Exodus 31. Where do we stop? We're in verse 15. So when we look at that, if you do any work on the Sabbath, understanding that Yahushua is your Sabbath, If you do your own works while you in him and he's supposed to be in you, you're going to be cut off. Which is what going back to the point of what we discussed last night of making a new heart and a new spirit. How can you be in the day of rest but still working? That doesn't make any sense. Hey, who backed up? Y'all waiting on the toilet? Don't be back there playing while you waiting on that toilet. Who back there bucket? Who over that bucket? Little Joe over that bucket? We're going to flush Little Joe down the toilet. 31 and 15. Exodus. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Shabbat of rest. Kadash to Yahuwah. Whosoever do any work on the Shabbat, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the sons of Yasharal shall keep Shabbat, to observe Shabbat throughout their generations for perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the sons of Yasharal forever. For in 6 days Yahuwah made heaven and earth. On the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. Y'all should remember refreshed, but if not, first and foremost, you have rest and you have Shabbat. Same thing, right? Cease or desist. So you sit back and see that on the seventh day, he stopped. Let's look and see what that means in John chapter 19, if we would. Jeremiah James Bird. Go over there doing more. Yes. See, Boo Boo. Thank you for sharing that. 19 and 28. I guess he really wanted me to know that. Just tell me that. Thanks for sharing. John 19:28. After this, Yahushua, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. Now there was set a vessel of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar, and put it upon hyssop, and put it to his mouth. When Yahushua therefore had received the vinegar, he said, it is finished. He bowed his head and gave up the ruach. So look at what he said, right? I mean, it's finished. That means I can what? I can cease and desist. That's why he say that you cease from your own works like Elohim did from his. Because what did he pray in John 17? I have finished the work that you have given me to do. Now it is time for me to take my rest or to cease and desist that I might be refreshed. If you recall, to be refreshed is nefash. Who recalls what nefash means for refreshed? That's it. Take a breath, refresh oneself. Or he received the ruach. What did he do to his apostles when he resurrected from the dead? He breathed on them, or he nefashed them. He gave them breath, or the same thing he did to Adam. So when you look at Yahushua in regards to the Shabbat, it's telling you that if you stop from doing your own work, then you can live like he was able to live because he stopped from doing his work, or his work was accomplished. Now, his work and our work are two totally different things. You know what I'm saying? But the point of the matter is that if he can cease from doing his works, then we can too. That's really what it's all about. Let's go back to Psalms 112. And of course, all this is coming from the heart being established. You understand? With that samach. Now, I know I mentioned a whole lot of things, other things besides that. Also, it means to refresh or revive or to sustain. But you got samach, meme, and ka, and you can proceed and give me what you got. Lizzie, what are you doing? Lizzie, are you reading? Come here, Lizzie. Come here, please. You're not in any type of trouble, is it? What do you have here? You have a photograph. That's Lizzie. Who is this with Lizzie? Who? Who? Why are you talking so loud? Are you happy here? Are you sure? Do you like that place? Why aren't you over there reading? Do you know how to read? Would you like to read? Well, ask them to let you see the book so you can read it. Hold on, what is this? What do you have here? Did you make this? How did you make this? Did you do that by yourself? Oh, that's very nice. Would you like to go away now?
Just a month. Meaning call?
Yes, sir. Hey, man.
I was going to do it. Separate. If you feel the rock, you'll be separated.
Y'all, what y'all got for me back there? Samak, Meme, and Kaf.
Oh, I thought you said cop. Oh,
Yeah.
I said separate.
To grab hold of it.
There you go.
You all right? Come here, Abigail. What do you want, Abby? Come here, Abby. Abby. Oh, okay, come here. Come here, Abby. What are you looking for, Abby? Abigail, you for food. All right, thump that nigga in the back of the head. Oh, she was in trouble. That's what she was doing.
What is that?
They got snacks. They got more snacks. Samak, Meme, and Kop. Are you grabbing hold? Or do you have support, considering that that's the actual word that's used there? Let's look and see. So we got that Samak first and foremost. So you got a thorn, support, and protect. You got something that's infinite, sharp, grab and hold. So you have refresh and you have, of course, support in there. So you could either use infinite or some type of support or protection. Meme is either going to be ruach or chaos if you so chose. But then, of course, you're ending with ka. And maybe that's the one. Would we want to say subdued, or would you want to be filled? Would you want to work? What you're going to sit back and look at it, considering that your heart is established, is that you would sit back and see that you have support while you're working in the midst of chaos or sin. See, this is the part that you have to sit back and look at, right? Let's just sit back and go back down the lane of something that we talked about recently. When David was going through that with Saul, what did Jonathan come do? He came and strengthened his hand in Elohim, so therefore he was a support to David in the work that he was doing while in the midst of chaos. When we look at the Malachim coming to strengthen Elisha, it's the same thing. When you see the angel coming to Elijah when he was in the cliff, see, come over here to 1 Kings 19. And this is how your heart is established. That's why I'm mentioning this. I want you to think about that. Because again, it's telling you what? His heart is established. He shall not be afraid. Now, of course, afraid is your rod to be afraid. So you're going to need some type of support for allow you to finish the work, because if you're in the midst of chaos, the midst of sin, the midst of destruction, the midst of confusion, that can bring some manner of fear in your brain. Would you agree? Most of us have. How many of y'all sit back and look at, just sit back and just being honest, on your childhood? Do you feel like some of y'all were in the midst of chaos and confusion that brought some manner of fear and trepidation in your mind as a child? See, these are things that most people like to suppress and repress because you don't want to think about it and you have no idea how it affected your outlook on life, how it would shape the type of person you would choose and shape the type of person you would be, and shapes the way that you behave. And if you never dealt with it, it still affects the way that you behave because you wanted to believe that it had no effect on you at all. That anytime you get to a point in life that you feel like something had no effect on you, it probably had more of an effect that you could even quantify because you're trying to minimize it. Now, some things may not have an effect on you if you have something to make up the gap. If there's not anything to make up the gap, then it's going to have an effect on you. It could be positive, it could be negative. I'm not saying because situations aren't ideal that it's always going to have a negative outcome, but it's going to have an effect. How many kids you know, you taught in school, I guarantee you, if you had any kids that had any type of behavioral issues, it'd probably be linked to the fact that their daddy wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And them acting out because they wanted the attention of their father. And they felt like if I do this and I do that, then by some means and miracle, my daddy will show up. Or they angry about it. They don't know how to process that anger, and they act out in that regard. Or you'll have some that do certain things that are overly pleasing because they feel like there's a void on the inside. It's a lot of that type of stuff that, like you say, a school teacher, you ain't even going to recognize that. You look at that, it's something wrong with each turn. It is something wrong with each turn. They come from negative environments. And you don't got to be in the hood to come from no negative home environment. Do you know what I'm saying? Because their parents might sit and argue in the house all day and all night. And they got to sit there and listen to it. Proud of you, Jim. You never cared for me. All you want to do is work. Well, maybe if I'm home, you didn't nag me to death. They got to hear that all day. And it starts with that, and then it starts to F you whore and all this type of extra stuff. That's why I'm sleeping with the gardener. The little kid got to listen to that. Well, that's rich people stuff. I'm sleeping with the gardener. I had sex with the pool boys. Back in the days, they were having sex with the milkman and the postman. UPS man. He dropped him off more than packages. He dropped off a package, but it ain't got no tracking system on it. It ain't right. You know what I'm saying? 1 Kings chapter 19 and verse 9. He said he came thither unto a cave and lodged there. Behold, the word of Yahuwah came to him. And he said unto him, what do you here, Elijah? And he said, I've been very jealous for Yahuwah Elohim host. The sons of Yasharal have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, slain your prophets, sword, and I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. He said, go forth and stand up upon the mount before Yahuwah. And behold, Yahuwah passed by, and a great strong wind rent the mountains and break in pieces the rocks before Yahuwah, but Yahuwah was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but Yahuwah was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but Yahuwah was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. Remember that, because I remember we dealt with that a long time ago. But that still small voice. When we look at still, the mind, a whisper or a calm. Now, I know some people say this here, but I'll tell you this here, right? John chapter 14 and verse 26, what did he say that he would send unto you? Now, he say he would send you the comforter. Now, let me ask y'all a question. If there's anybody in your life, it doesn't matter the gender, it doesn't even matter who it was. When you were in an excited state and they were seeking to calm you down, did they speak with a calm, with a whisper? The ability to comfort you, to bring down the level of trepidation. See, that's what Yahuwah Ruach do. See, Yahuwah slow you down, Satan speed you up. You know what I'm saying? And one of the reasons why I state that is that when Yahuwah, and this is what I was talking about last night, is fourth is when you're dealing with somebody who seeks to guide and direct. Someone who seeks to manipulate does not have a calming presence. They always seek to speed up your decision making because they're trying to manipulate you to do something that is beneficial to them. When you're dealing with somebody who's seeking to guide you in structure or discipline, they have a calming demeanor, meaning this is what I'm on, and you can choose to roll with it or not. They're not going to speed you up and hurry you up to make a decision. because I've given you an option and you have a time frame to make that decision. If you choose not to make that decision, then that is on you. See, that is the difference between the adversary and those who are the spawn of the adversary and those who are the sons of Elohim, because the sons are, matter of fact, I put it to you this way. Yahushua said in Matthew chapter 5, blessed are the who? The peacemakers. So these were people who would seek to do what? Bring a calm. Why is he talking to this man with a whisper and a calm? Because he is in the midst of chaos. What did he just say in verse 10? What was going on? They're killing the prophets. They coming to kill me. They done thrown down your altars. They done forsook your covenant. So when he's coming with the calm and the whisper, is to give someone comfort or support in the midst of chaos so that Elijah can continue to do his work. Man, come here. Come here. Fix your face. What's your problem? You're not even crying real tears. Rama, what's your problem? Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Do you know why you're crying? So you're crying, but you don't know why you're crying. Is that what you're telling me? So if you don't know why you're crying, I would like for you to just sit here and be quiet so I can work. Would you like to disturb me while I'm working? Huh? I didn't think so, because I've known you for a very long time and you don't strike me as a rude baby. Are you a rude baby? Are you a nice baby? Oh, you're not a nice baby? What kind of baby are you? Are you an upset baby? Are you a hungry baby? Would you like a snack? Did you ask something? So that's why you're crying, because you want a snack. Is that it? Is that it? And why didn't you just tell someone that you would like a snack? How about you? How about you inform your mother that you would like a snack? How about you do that? Go ahead. So we got small, that's that, and you got no, of course, that's small, fine, we don't need all that. Or cool. But I knew it was that you broke down that word. So, of course, he's just an example of what we're talking about. He's comforting him with a calming voice. And put it to you this way, right? And this is something that most men don't know, because most men don't see men doing it. That in order, the best way to calm a woman is to have a calm demeanor. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have a calm demeanor, they're already emotional. They're high strung. They are already ready to explode. Now, the same way she just said she didn't know why she was crying, how many of y'all done broke down and went to crying and you ain't know why you were crying? We know you done it. Because you was a girl's girl. How, Michael, you ever just started crying, you didn't know why you were crying? See, I did it last week. It's okay if you started crying, you didn't know why. You done that before, little mother? It's like, I don't even think they ask you why you crying. Oh, no. Huh, why you laughing? I know you done it. Yeah, several times. I was like, this nigga, wow, I'm going to get a sample. Now that's a lie. We're going to leave that alone. Nigga, you just cried the other day.
That's crazy.
That nigga cried watching movies. That nigga try to hide it, talk about it's a thug tip. Ain't no thug tip. There ain't no thug tip. That don't count. I know we had caveats on it. I need to be watching the rom-coms. I need to try to turn ahead. Probably watching Hallmark movies. Like, that's why I'm watching by myself. You don't want to look at them. So don't. I cried watching that movie Thursday. Cried with anger. I said, I done wasted my money and my time watching this junk. Shoot, that's the only way you were gonna see it. You gotta rent him.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a different man.
I'm gonna tell you like what that boy said on that song. Don't do it 3 stacks. Reconsider. Read on the subject.
I saw your point you made.
Nah, man, you can watch. I mean, that junk ain't but $7. Just know you ain't gonna get them $7 an hour and a half back.
Wasted life experience.
That's definitely wasted life experience. You them like, dang, boy, I could have bought a perk. You know what I mean? I will say, no, I can't even say that. I can't even say the cinematography was good. And that's sad considering that was a Spike Lee film because the cinematography was average.
Explain that. The cinematography.
How well the movie was put together.
Yeah, your film, the camera shot.
Oh.
Oh, you got some films got superb cinematography. Like that opening scene of Belly, that's superb cinematography. You know what I'm talking about? That's top-notch quality. You know what I'm saying? It went downhill from there.
Yeah, it started off.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what made it go downhill because they basically made the movie a long music video.
Yeah.
Versus if he just would have made it a movie, it's like it wasn't horrible, but it definitely could have been way, way better. I mean, just how it was framed, period. Scene to scene. Dialogue. You know what I'm saying? All that. You know what I'm talking about? Because you didn't have niggas who were that bad in the film. Like, niggas weren't that bad as far as acting is concerned. Maybe except for Nas. Nas was pretty bad. But nevertheless. 9 and 13. First Kings 19. And it was so when Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his mantle, went out, and stood in the entering of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him and said, what do you hear, Elijah? He said, I've been very jealous for Yahuwah Elohim of hosts, because the sons of Yasharal have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword. I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it. Yahuwah said unto him, go return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus, and when you come, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And they go on and so forth. And he let him know he had 7,000 men who hadn't bowed the knee to Baal. But the point of what we looked at that for is you see a man in the midst of chaos had support so he could continue to do what he was sent to do. Because your heart is established, so you'll see your desire upon your enemy. In fact, let me read that. Look what he said would happen to the enemies. Jehu, the son of Nimshi, shall you anoint king over Yasharal. Elisha, the son of Shaphat of Abel Maloah, shall you anoint to be a prophet in your room. And it shall come to pass that him that escaped with the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay. Him that escaped from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. And then, of course, he got the word what would happen to Jezebel. Remember, what was Jezebel doing? She would kill prophets. Which, of course, led to Elijah to end up doing what? Number one, he prayed for it not to rain. So then she wanted to kill him for that. Remember when he told the dude Obadiah he wanted to see Ahab face to face? What Obadiah said to him? He said, you coming to call my sins to remembrance? You ain't heard about what I done. I hit the prophets by 50 in caves. You know what I'm talking about? So she was slaying anybody who was prophesying against what she had going on. Why was she doing that? Because she was a wicked whore. But on top of the fact that she was a wicked whore, work had to be done. And they got the word of prophecy. What was it prophesied what happened to Jezebel? Sean say she'll be eaten apart by dogs and with none be left of her funky stinking behind. Because he got to see his desire upon his enemies because his heart was fixed. You understand what I'm saying? See, come on back over here to Psalm 112. I feel you on that, Sean. Sean say the synopsis of American Skin turned him away from it. Now, for me, it's always storytelling dialogue. Your story don't have to be necessarily realistic unless you're framing the movie to be realistic. If you're framing the movie to be realistic, the story needs to be as realistic as possible. You know what I'm saying? And if you take fantastical and asinine points that no rational human being would actually do, that just brings down the quality of the film. Like you have certain action films, like say certain Schwarzenegger or Rambo films, they not supposed to be in reality. You know what I'm saying? So when they do things outside the realms of reality, then it's not a big deal. When you take a movie like that, that's it. Like as crazy as over the top it was, that movie Acrimony was framed in reality, except for the trying to kill you part. That stuff, that type of stuff happens more often than you think. You know what I'm saying? Not to that scale of the finances, but it happens more often than you think. Of a woman feeling like she's owed a man who she felt like she supported, when in reality, you weren't supporting him. In reality, you were trying to support a vision of love that you thought you would get back based off of something that you were doing, because what you were doing was not really selfless, it was self-serving. You know what I'm saying? Then when you push that individual away, and then the years of hard work that they done put in has actually brought forth the fruit, now you feel like you're supposed to benefit and profit from something that you didn't ever believe in the first place. Now you feel like I'm supposed to get a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people feel, it just don't be on that large of a scale. You know what I'm talking about? Now you feel like, oh, that's my life. I'm supposed to got that. But when you had it, you didn't want it. Or you didn't believe in what that person was doing. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get to benefit from what you didn't believe in. Do you think if you met him when y'all was, say, a little younger, you know, out of high school, and he told you, I want to be a senator of the United States of America, you like, oh, yeah, junkie. And he kept doing it, and that next thing, the third, and next thing you say, I'm gonna leave this nigga alone. He got these dreams, he been working in the doggone election campaign all these years. He ain't got their office. He lost the city council race. He ain't gonna be nothing. The next thing you know, the state senator of Florida, the United States senator, you right here talking about, now she living my life in D.C. You mad now?
Yeah.
I can imagine. Now you mad because you feel like another woman is getting the benefit of the work you felt like you put in, but you ain't really put in no work. You think because you shot a nigga a couple dollars, you know what I'm talking about, because he was staying at your house, that you did something. And you didn't do anything. Because see, the difference between women of other races is, oh, they gonna ride out with that nigga till he hit that. If she really believed that he had the ability to hit that number, she's not going anywhere, because she gonna be like, I'll be damned if I get this nigga 12 years of giving up my crime and my womb for another woman to get it. Matter of fact, that woman in Acrimony ain't even get this nigga no turn. Well then shut your funky behind up. Oh, you can't give him the number one thing you were made for. At the end of the day, a woman was made, the number one purpose that the woman is made for is to be a helpmeet and give a man some kids. So if you can't give me some kids, you shut your mouth and you help me make these millions so we can fall. That's what you do. You know what I'm talking about? That's the least you can do. Do you realize how serious a choice that is for a man to choose a woman he know can't give him no kids? A woman who cannot give him offspring. No, but I'm saying, but do you all understand that from a man's perspective? Do you have to understand how much that man got to love you, knowing you could never give him an heir? See, y'all don't think about it that way. Like you can, when you look in the text, not being able to give Abraham an heir made Sarah miserable. You know what I'm saying? She looked at herself like, I can't be right. I can't give him the one thing that I was put on the earth to give him. Now, if you any type of woman and you love your man, that's devastating to you. You know what I'm talking about?
You look at it like that, you'll see why he knocked down the whole.
But see, that's the thing, though. No, he wasn't providing, but you knew what he was working on. And see, that's the difference between other races of people and ours. Because if you know he was working towards something that could eventually have you indiscriminately wealthy, then you can't look at, well, he ain't providing. See, because if you want him to provide, then he can't work on that dream if you lock in on what he's doing. Because people love to talk about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, but there was a time period that nigga was not providing for her. That they were broke. And that she was footing a lot of the bill. But y'all don't like to talk about that story. That woman sat there with that homosexual nigga, allegedly. until he hit the big time. Come on, this man is a community organizer. What type of money you thought he would make? What type of money you thought he would make? This woman was a professional lawyer, was she not? You don't think she would fit most of the bill? A lawyer, community organizer. Who you think paying all the bills? But guess what she knew? He wants to be this, that, and the third. I'm going to ride with it. I'm going to ride with it. Most of our women ain't going to do that. If you don't believe in what a nigga doing, then don't fool with it. At the end of the day, if you knew he did not have the ability to pay bills how you wanted to pay him because he was chasing after a particular vision that he had and you didn't want to be invested in it, don't mess with it. It's really that simple. Do you believe that's that simple? What about you? You think it's that simple? Huh? No, you don't. You, Paul, you had to think about it. You looking at this nigga, you better not be broke that long, nigga. That's how she looking at you. I'm taking the cat and the dog. I don't even like dogs. But come on back to Psalm 112. I get that point. I know that from a woman's point of view, he's not providing. I definitely understand from a woman's point of view, but from a practical point of view, you have to look at it like this here. If you don't believe in what he's doing, then don't fool with it. It's really that simple. But see, I get that you won't help, but see, that's the thing. You will ride with the dude, but you won't help. But if you know an individual man is locked in on what he's trying to do, then you can't fool with it. Because if you ask a man to choose between his purpose and his vision and you, and he ain't married to you, he's not gonna choose you. He's not gonna choose you. He's gonna choose his purpose.
I'll get your jacket then.
And only different, and I get all that because, but see, that's the thing. That's a conversation that has to be had. Most people don't have that, and I say that because other races of people don't have these problems. You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever heard of white women who do that for their man? They don't have a problem. They don't be like, he don't pay none of the bills. No doubt. It's like they don't say, oh, he can't pay none of the bills. I ain't fooling with it. You know what I'm talking about? Because he trying to be this, that. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes he got that pipe dream. You know what I'm saying? Till he hit his number. And then like Jay put it, say, nah, you know what I'm saying? You can say, hey, the people done changed. Your dead hoe, the reaper done came. You know what I'm talking about? It's over with. You know what I'm talking about? It's over with. I had to mention. But that's what usually happens. What usually happens, especially with black people, is the women want to be there when you cross the finish line and don't want to go through the time period that it took to get to the finish line. Then by the time I hit the finish line, you old, you used up, and you possibly got someone else's turn. I'm straight. I'll get the younger version. I'll get that 2021. Just came off the showroom floor. And I only say that because a man is not going to be at the top in his 20s. It's not going to happen. You know a lot of dudes in their 20s with a lot of money that don't play sports, that don't rap. You know a lot of people with money, period. Oh, that's right. You used to hang with the drug dealers. Hang with a drug dealer. Talking about, I'm a lady, but hanging with dope boy, type of lady you is. You ain't no lady. You was a thug on the low. You used to carry pistols in your drawers, didn't you? All right. You did. Oh, you really thought you was too hiding dope in your car? No, did you? You did. Yeah, you used to hold that bomb. That wasn't your pistol you were holding. You were holding their pistol. Well, so you in the car with the pistol and you like, I shoot them niggas for you, baby. But you ain't gonna fight for Lieutenant. You was a Lieutenant. I thought she gonna slap that pussy. She talking about, I'm gonna shoot. You ain't gonna shoot nobody. You ever shot somebody before? Man, you ain't gonna shoot nobody, neither. You smart. What? You ain't supposed to. But let's look at this last part by seeing his desire on his enemies. Revelation 19. Let's look at desire. Desire ain't even in there, so. When you look at it, see his enemies, that's Sod and Rod. So he gonna see his enemies. Matter of fact, we don't even need to read that. Let's get over here to verse 9, Psalms 112, because we just talked about that not too long ago. How he gonna see his enemies? 1 First and foremost, what does Deuteronomy chapter 7 say about his enemies? Huh? No, I'm talking about Deuteronomy 7. He said something about his enemies. Who can tell me what Deuteronomy chapter 7 say? How Yahuwah say what he gonna do with his enemies? He gonna repay them back to their face. That's what he said. Deuteronomy 7:6, 7:7, somewhere in there.
Yeah, do say that, man.
He said he gonna pay you back dead to your face.
I'm not hating.
Those that hate me, he said, I hate you. What he said in Leviticus 26, if you contrary, he'll be contrary to you. So basically, if you opposite of him, he's gonna be opposite of you. Well, what is him? Merciful, gracious, compassionate, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, forgiving sin and iniquity. So if you forsake mercy, what we read the other day in Jonah chapter 2, what he's holding? He say those that forsake mercy, those that love lying vanities, forsake their own mercy. Matter of fact, Paul put it in the state that you'll have people who oppose their own selves. All he told you to do was what? To pray to Elohim that they might be recovered from the adversary from opposing themselves. Let's take a look at that. I think it's the Epistle of Timothy. Little ruler, baby. She like, that's my room. I don't care. I'm trying to remember where it's at. I got it. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22. Again, I want y'all to say, right? I ain't telling you to mess with no broke dude. But I tell you like this here, though. Some of y'all don't matter, you already married. If a dude got a plan and it's something that you see that he want to do, and most of the time, if a dude is very, very passionate about something that he desires to do, it's not an if he gonna be successful, it's a when. I'm gonna tell you that as a man. If he's passionate and purposeful about something that he desires to do, he's going to figure out a way to do it. His mind is trained on it all day, every day. He's working towards it every minute, every second of the day. You know what I'm saying? See, y'all don't work that way. Just like she said, Nell just said, you know what I'm saying? That's not my role. Your role is to help. Y'all don't have stuff. A man could work from age 16 to 75. Y'all do not want to work that long. There's nothing on this earth that y'all want to do that y'all find that purposeful that will bring you satisfaction. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we go to looking at this virtuous woman talking about value, because most of y'all in this generation are stone cold lazy. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about absolutely lazy. They ain't got no comparison to any woman in any generation previous. I'm talking about when you compare the women of this generation to previous, you niggas are negative in comparison. Because I told you this the other week, no woman of any generation had ever said she needed a break from her duties. Because what if your husband walked in the house and said, I need a break, baby. I can't go to work. I'm tired. I need a break. I can't keep paying these bills. But y'all will turn around and look a nigga in the face talking about you need a break from your own church. Nigga, that junk sounds backwards. And y'all be shocked when a nigga look at you like this whole school. Need a break. Nigga, I want a break too. But if I take a break, we on the street. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to be holding up a sign talking about homeless, please help. 3 kids, we need food. See, that's the difference between a man and a woman, because a woman can have that type of thought that she can take a break from her responsibilities. A man can never take a break from his responsibilities. Ever, at any time. Because look at what Yasharal did. You had a responsibility to be the vanguard and hold up the inside of Elohim, did you not? And you took a break. Yahuwah never took a break. He ain't never say, you know what, I ain't going to be God today. The sun ain't coming out. He ain't never say, I need to take a break. I ain't going to give no food. Because the book of Psalms say if he don't feed them animals walk around looking distressed, don't they? Okay, play with it. I just imagine he said, I need to take a break from the covenant. I'm tired. You see how stupid that junk sound when you quantify it in those terms? I need a break. A break from what? My job. But this be the aspect, right? Where if a woman says she want a break. If she says she want a break, then you ask her, let's change places. And let me see how fast you'll come back talking about you want a break from what I'm doing. You know what I'm talking about? And that's not, you know where that comes from? Because we have allowed outside forces to tell each other that somebody's role is more important than the other. You know what I'm saying? I'm at home with these kids. My role is important too. So him slaying beasts and bringing them back home is not just as important, but complementary. Because how many of you, if most of y'all, your husband work for themselves, would you want to go out there and do the labor that he got to do and he stay home with the kids? So when you talking about you want to break, huh? Would you want to go out there, Cali, and paint houses and deal with these people? Shayla, would you want to go out here and cut grass and drive trucks all day? You say that till you out there and you got to do it and you out there 12 to 16 hours. No break. No break, no stopping, no hanging out, no chilling on the phone doing this, that, and the third. What y'all think niggas be doing? Niggas be working. You know what I'm talking about? Especially because most of them do manual labor. Labor that actually takes physical movement. Niggas not on the laptop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a different type of work. You a white collar guy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't sitting behind a desk. Nigga have to be physically working. That junk different. I know this what she done came out with, but I know she ain't came out and did no junk move. I know she don't want to go in them nasty behind houses. Nigga ain't been in there in 7 years. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, we walk in there like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? They don't want to come in here and demo no kitchen, demo the back of a house. Which one of you women want to go out here and swing a sledgehammer? Huh? Crank up a demolition hammer down here chipping up concrete blocks. Yeah, they do. No, I'm talking about all the time. Not when you feel, not when it's, I want to help you, baby. Not helping, you doing it. But they're masculine, though. And they might have a liquor license. They might have one.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Amen. I with you on that, East.
You got to get the leads anyway. I'm doing church. You got to get the money.
Then you got to then you have to do the marketing, strategy, the legwork. You have to maintain every bill and lead and guide everybody in the house. That's what happens when you switch the role. Now he's gonna be the nurturer. Come here, baby. Let me hold you while you cry. You got to do his job.
Pancakes or grits?
Pancakes or grits. And when there's problems in the house, you got to fix them. You got to deal with all that. Let me see if you come back and talk about, you know what? Take your job back. I'm fine over here. Because guess what? My brother did that poll, and it's there to say modern women are miserable. But guess what? You got more money, more freedom, more choices, and you miserable. Because you know why you're miserable? Because you're not a lady, you're a man. You're a man lady. You acting like a man, want to be a lady. You're a man lady. To be a lady, it's better to be a lady. And like I said, just like he said, that's not saying that you disregard that woman's dedication. I'm talking about in comparison to previous generations. You just didn't hear about your grandmamas and your great-grandmamas and great-great-grandmamas talking about they needed a break. And they did way more work than you did. And you have way more creature comforts. They didn't have no washing machine. They ain't had no dryer.
Start a meal, these guys go out there and cut
the vegetables down.
Pre-cut lumber, they have to press down,
Facts.
oven,
Facts.
start a fire, cook from scratch.
Biscuits, bread, straight up and down. Might have to go outside and take down and harvest their own vegetables. Wash them, cook them, hand wash your drawers, and hand hang them. All you niggas got to do, you niggas cry about going to the washing machine. Nigga, the machine doing all the work. All you had to do was put it in there. Go find, well, see, there's not too many of them now because it's 2021. Go find them old ladies that had to wash the clothes by hand. All they had no doggone that thing they used to break them clothes cross. You didn't have to do none of that. Nigga around here crying about washing dishes, got a whole machine to put them in. Nigga crying, I gotta go to the grocery store. Well, better the grocery store to go in the back and kill the chicken yourself. Because some of them women went back there and killed the chicken themselves and defeathered him and cut him up. Look how you shaking your head. Oh, not me. Lazy. Lazy. Fucking boil it, cook it. But no, you looking like that because it's foreign to you because you got all these comforts and it made you lazy. It made you lazy. Kira said they still hang out, they clothes in the hand. Shoot, you in the country though, Kira. You're in the city, got 2 stoplights and 1 don't work. Kira said them kids, them dishwashing machines don't work. And hers, I'm just talking about from if some of them older women look at y'all and be like, y'all some lazy house. And y'all be talking about them old people be tripping because you lazy. You ain't really got, they didn't have no vacuum cleaner. That's why some of y'all doggone forearms were strong, sweeping them doggone broom across that heavy behind carpet. You know what I'm talking about? Like this. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what the worst part is, though, before I move on, because I'm setting this up for when we read Proverbs 31 again, is that you have to do less but want more for less. Yeah. That's the crazy part. You want more for doing less. Because them women back in the day really deserve more. Because they did way more, and did it with a smile and humility. Ain't around here complaining that nigga don't spend more time with me. She like this here. I got a job, he got a job, this got to get done. You know what made her happy? When that man came in from working all day and he was satisfied with a meal that she cooked and he was full. She was happy with that. He was satisfied with her. So she said, well, come on, baby, so I can satisfy you here. Come on to the back, man. Barbara Jean gonna take care of you. Sean said that was his punter. Lula May gonna take care of you. Willie Mae? Lula May? You know what I'm talking about? Come on here, back here, Bobby Ray. My daddy's name was Will. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse. I'm just saying the difference, and the difference is also now because men are feminized, they don't want to play their role, but you want the authority that your role requires. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas done got lazy too. But that's because your mama raised you like that. So now you looking for another woman to take care of you. If you ain't never been told before, man, don't ever let no woman take care of you, man, just don't do it. Well, you would rather sleep behind a subway than to let a woman take care of you. It's more peaceful. I guarantee you, it's better to be homeless than to live with a woman who take care of you. You'll have more peace being homeless than living with a woman who take care of you. Because every man in here know, boy, if you let a woman take care of you, she's going to size you. It's gonna come. I done seen it in my lifetime. That's why I wasn't never with it. Never lie. I remember a chick when I was young, she told me, I'll take care of you. You never have to worry. I said, go shoot, you got me bent. Cause I know it's gonna come. I bought them drawers, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? You don't do nothing. She gonna size you in front of her friends. You know what I'm talking about? She gonna disrespect you. It's my house, nigga. Get out. And then that's when she could come in and make the man come in here and eat my coochie. What? Boys, dudes get done like that. It's a dude who had a comedy skit about that. Like, his old lady paid all the bills and she came and sized him. And it might be comedy, but if somebody's got a skit where they came up with that, that's somebody's real life. That's somebody's real life where that woman can feel like she can walk in front of other people and say, come give me some caniglers because I thought a broke nigga said something. You don't want to live like that. You don't want to live like that. It's better to be homeless than to live like that. Maintain your manhood. Absolutely not. Shoot, why I'd rather gargle bricks. Say what if you want to. How many of y'all have never seen a man in that submissive position? How happy was he? So y'all looking like this here. Y'all ever seen a man in that type of position? Where a woman was taking care of him? Paying all the bills? And how happy was he?
Y'all struggling together.
That nigga, y'all junk don't count, nigga. Yeah, nigga don't count. Because that was somebody who you had already been with. who had also had time periods where he took care of you. But no, man, come on now. You gotta know. Yeah, but no, that's not the same. That nigga took care of you. So if he was down bad, then you plug it in the gap. Yeah. You plug it in. You did what you were supposed to do. You was a real nigga in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because you already know when he up, I'm up. So it ain't no pressure. See, that's what a lot of modern women, they ain't gonna do. You fall off, get a new nigga. They out. New meat, new treat. Straight up and down. That's what happens. But I'm talking about a dude that you know that he never took care of this woman. He driving her car, putting gas in her car.
I seen him all life.
That is true.
What? I know.
Oh, I already know he did something like that. And mom dudes don't respect him like that. Yes. He never came home. But did your grandma take care of him? And she probably gave him hell every time he came home. That's why he didn't come home. Yeah, that's why he didn't come home. You can't live as a man because you know why? When y'all get in that position of power and authority, you're not going to let a man forget it. He don't satisfy you in bed, broke nigga. You need to go get a job. Anything you can think of. Why you let this dish in here? It's a cup and a spoon. You need to clean up behind yourself. That's how it happens. Broke behind nigga. This nigga don't never do nothing. Yeah, you can't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Like that? Right. Yeah. Never put yourself in that position, man. Always be in the dominant position. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22. Never put yourself in that type of position. Oh, I say this here too. And I know most of y'all brothers ain't got the cape. I'm taking a view. I was talking to you about this the other day. Like, as a man, okay, your woman might have to work and she might have to help. But boy, at the bare minimum, boy, you got to pay all the rent, all the mortgage. You know what I'm saying? If she got to pay her car note, that's her business. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. If you could cover every bill in the house, that's fine. But if it's one bill that you got to cover in its entirety, well, that's that rent/mortgage, boy. Because if she put anything on that, boy, she gonna size. You know what I'm talking about? She gonna size. Yeah, that's fine. Because guess what? Because almost 74% of women out here got to work. It's real out here, and it's gonna get realer. When you thinking one man can pay the whole thing and you be comfortable, it's getting realer. You might need to clock in and clock out. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. It is what it is. But boy, at the bare minimum, boy, pay the rent, boy. And then she can't say nothing. You know what I'm talking about? See, ain't nobody trying to hear. I gotta pay the light bill. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. That's weak. You know what I'm talking about? I gotta pay my car payment. Shoot, you bought the car before you came, man. That's your bill. You know what I'm talking about? It's only my bill if I bought the car. You know what I'm saying? If I bought the car, then hey, I need to pay that car note if I bought the car. But if you bought the car with you, maybe that's your expense. You know what I'm talking about? Come with it, leave with it. You know what I'm talking about? But boy, you gotta pay the rent, my G. She can't say nothing when you're paying the rent. She can't turn around to my nigga, that's why I put in on it. She can't say nothing. You're gonna have to sit there and be quiet. You know what I'm talking about? Now you fix my sandwich and leave me alone, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Game on. Super Bowl, leave me alone. I got the boy coming over.
So I got boys coming over.
I paid the rent. Pay nothing else. Don't let her pay nothing on that rent, man. Don't let her do it. Like this here, boy, if you got to go without shoes, whatever the case may be, but don't lose your self-respect. I'm telling you. I done seen it, boy. I done seen it. Cool, boy, I learned that as a jit, boy. This ain't nothing I just found out, boy. I learned that 17 years old, boy. Boy, don't let her put nothing on the rent, my nigga. And don't move in with her. That's two things you don't do. Make it three. And don't take care of no woman you ain't married to. You know what I'm talking about? Don't pay no bills at a house that you don't live in. Just what we were watching that clip, 85 South talking to the TikTok about, that's bad vagina management. He said it sound like that bad mental management. You know what I'm talking about? Because you really a bust down and you feel like somebody's supposed to take care of you. You don't take care of a woman you not. It's not my responsibility to help you pay your light bill. Because whether I was laying with you or not, your light bill still was going to have to be paid. What was you going to do? Was you going to get on OnlyFans? What was you going to do? Oh, man. That's a personal problem. That's husband issue. And the reason why I say that means because if a man hasn't determined that he wants to marry you, that's why he's not concerned with it. See, if a man's concerned with it, that means he's already determined in his mind he's going to marry you. See, that's the difference that y'all don't know. When you come to a man with problems and he don't care because he don't like you. I like your vagina, and that's all I care for. That's what I'm here for. I'm just here so I can get some, you know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm here for. I don't care about you. See, y'all don't believe that. Y'all believe if a man pulls his penis out, he cares about you. He doesn't. He cares about ejaculating. See, y'all don't like to hear that because y'all believe that. Or it's like the chick said on there, oh, your coochie ain't good if he don't pay for this here. Oh, y'all really believe that, huh? No, it doesn't matter how good your coochie is. I'm going to keep my money. I'm telling you. Sean said that's why his old female friends don't care for his advice. Talking about what you're talking about. I'm telling you, like I said, y'all brothers already made it. Y'all already know, boy. I'm telling you this, you got homeboys. Boy, tell them, boy, don't you let that woman put nothing on the rent. Nothing. Absolutely not a Russian nickel. The only way that happens is that, hey, you get injured, something happened, whatever the case may be. But guess why? You know why I tell you this here? No. What did you put in on getting the land of Canaan? He didn't even let you fight for it. He killed him himself and told you don't sell the land. That's mine. And my eyes are always, I'm just telling you what your God did. I'm just trying to show you what your God, everything I'm telling you that what Yahuwah did. That's all I'm telling you what Yahuwah did. He giving you the template as a man how to conduct yourself. Because guess what? When she don't want to act right, you can put her off your land just like he did. That's all. Because guess what? At the same token, when you act right, well, Yahuwah took care of his wife tremendously. And you know, I've been told you that. That's what you're supposed to do. Just like each put up here. If you recognize that woman's dedication, she's doing her job. See, that's one thing I can say about that nigga POA, boy. That nigga might be on some other type of time. But that nigga say, when that woman do her job, that man say, reward that woman. That's real nigga conversation. That's what you're supposed to do. That woman do her job, boy, you reward that woman, boy. Don't sit there and look at that. That's what you're supposed to do. She holding it down, boy, you look out for that woman. Don't you be no buster now. That woman taking care of that house. She helping you with what you got going on. She serving her role and her purpose with a smile and class and humility and femininity. Well, you better bless that woman. Well, you better get some fly outfits and some kicks. You better take her somewhere. You better take her to a nice restaurant, nigga. Take her on a trip somewhere. If you don't, you's a buster. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down, you's a buster and a sucker. If that woman doing her job and you don't reward her for it. Because Yahuwah don't roll that way. Yahuwah bless his wife when she do her job. Now, we don't believe in that. Well, you look out for her. You know what I'm talking about? Don't let these niggas who hate women and beat every night tell you screw them women. The dudes who tell you that ain't got no woman, they ain't got no good one. Yeah, don't let them dudes get on and tell you that. Same dude tell you that. Cover Vaseline in the room. Straight up. Gonna tell you screw them hoes. Lying to me. You get you a good woman, boy, you take care of that woman, boy. Straight up and down. A woman that invested in what you got going on and help you with it, boy, you a damn fool. And you wicked. And I tell your dad I said it. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down, boy. We don't promote that, never have. You ever promoted that? We don't promote that. Boy, you take care of it. That's right. You know how many selfish women it is out here, boy, don't care nothing about you? And you gonna disregard somebody who rolled with you? Come on, man. Boy, ain't nothing wrong with you, boy. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22. See, I'm also leading up to something where that's everything. What they call it on TV, a segue. Yeah, mini segue. Mini segue. You would have thought work for the network. Be also useful lust, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace, and that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strifes. And the servant of the Lord must not contend, but be gentle unto all men, skilled to teach, patient, in meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves, if Elohim peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of their mock, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, but taken captive by him at his will. So that takes us back to that parable of the sower. What did he say about the seed that fall by the wayside? How did he describe that? You can come back to Psalms 112 while you think.
I was saying something else.
Looking it up because he took what was sown in their heart, because it was his will for him to be able to do that. See, a lot of people who are taken and snared and captured by the devil is more in line with the seed by the wayside, because they don't. When they hear it, they don't understand it. So when they don't understand it, then that's why he said you got to have humility in instructing somebody who is opposing themselves. See, sometimes you can't come with the tact of pop, pop, I'm gonna hit him in his face. Sometimes you're gonna have to use a little bit of a skill, like Paul said, "I become all things to all men." See, some people, when they see you do that, they think you justifying somebody's behavior when you're trying to find a different manner to reach them, to cause them to change their behavior. You know what I'm saying? That's all that really is. The same token, just like, okay, like boom, some women be like, okay, well, I see Kevin Samuels talking to this woman like this. I like that one versus this one, when all he was doing was giving them women what they were giving him. Because most women are used to somebody checking them. But when there's somebody who's sitting back and he's seeing that they're coming and they're opposing themselves, I put it this way: in his avenue, he comes with humility first before he checking them. When you look at Yahushua, you see that he came with humility first before he had to check somebody. That's how you have to do things. You come in humility, because if you come aggressively or in pride, people are not going to listen. Yeah, they're not going to listen. And why are they not going to listen? Because they're going to get defensive. You know what I'm saying? When you attack somebody, that's automatically they're gonna put their set up. Hold on, I gotta block these punches. Oh no, rope. That's what happens. But it's back to Psalms 112. Because all that stuff I was talking about was to lead us to this verse right here, verse 9. Because we know what seeing his desire is. He's gonna kill all these people. And this is what is getting us to the point of talking about what makes a man high value. Before I get into the specifics of what makes a man high value is regards to Yahuwah, we're gonna look at the woman because that's quick. Psalms 112 and verse 9, he have dispersed, he have given to the poor, his righteousness endure forever, his horn shall be exalted with honor. The word of focus here will be horn. What's it, horn? We'll look at horn. So that is Corinne, and I want you to think on Kuf, Rosh, and Noon. But let's swing over here to Proverbs 31 real quick. And we just want to look at, because I want to ask y'all a question. I want you, and you'll have an opportunity to think about it versus on the spot. I know we didn't have this conversation before, but I want you to think about your mate. And when you're thinking about your mate, I want you to think on a scale from 0 to 10, how close they are to your mother or father. And how did the conduct of your mother, if you're a woman, how did the conduct of your father shape the type of man that you chose and sought out? Is he close to your father? And if so, how close? And if he's far away from the type of man that your father is, then how far, and why or why not did you choose someone who was not like your father? Now, for the men, you'd have to look at it, looking at the way that your mother conducted herself. How did that shape what type of woman that you selected? Is your woman close to your mother? If she's close to your mother, then why so? And if she's not, then why so? Because regardless if people want to acknowledge or not, your parents can play a major factor in the type of person that you choose to deal with. Because you hear a lot of men say, I want a woman like my mama. Have you ever heard that before? Have you ever said it? You know what I'm saying? Some men don't. Me, myself, I never was concerned with, I want a woman like my mother or my auntie. That didn't shape my choices. But some people it does. And that's not a negative thing. If it does, it's natural. I've definitely heard a lot of women say, hey, I want somebody to do for me like my daddy did. You know what I'm saying? Or hear men say that I want to raise my daughter in a particular fashion so that she'll pick a man like me. Or you'll hear people say, would you give your daughter to a man like you? You know what I'm saying? And it shapes that and it forms that. And that goes back to the usefulness and the value of things of that nature. But you can ponder on that. But Proverbs 31 again. It say, who can find a virtuous woman for a price is far above rubies? Now, it says, the heart of a husband do safely trust in her so that he'll have no need of spoil. So, Paul. Now, when we turn around and we look at Yahusha in juxtaposition to this, the number one key component when you look at the usefulness of a woman according to this text is that she has to be a woman that a man can trust. If you are not a woman that a man can trust, then you are truly useless. Notice that it says that the heart of a husband safely trusts. When we look at safely trust, it's a word that you know. It is confidence, or it is batak. It is to trust, to have confidence, or to make secure. So this man has to be able to have confidence in his woman. You cannot say that you are a virtuous woman and your man does not have confidence in you. And of course, a virtuous woman in Hebrew, what does that translate to, ladies? Do you recall? Michael, do you recall? Why you don't remember? You're not sure? I'm not going to tell you nothing. Callan, do you know what it means? Virtuous woman translates to what? Why don't you remember? What? Yes, you have. You were present for it several times. What about you, Nisha? No, the definition of virtuous woman in Hebrew. What does virtuous woman translate to? Oh, you don't remember?
Not really.
I'm thoroughly upset. Kalisha? I'm just appalled. I am appalled. I'm not talking about you, girl. Yeah, I'm ready.
I like too.
That is correct. You said it close enough. You ain't pronounced it right. No, she just said it is Kayil, or strong. Virtuous woman translates to strong woman. So if she's strong, why is she strong? Because her mind stays on Yahuwah. He that trusteth in Yahuwah, mind is stayed on you. For trust in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. So the strength of the woman is her trust in Yahuwah, which is why the man can have confidence in her. Because he knows that she will not spoil her, because love thinks no ill to his neighbor. The woman that trusts and loves Yahuwah, how would she do harm to her husband when that would go against what Yahuwah has prescribed? How does Proverbs 31 end? The woman that fears Yahuwah, she shall be praised. If she fears Yahuwah, then of course she's not going to spoil her husband, because that would cause her to be contrary to Yahuwah. So the number one usefulness in a woman is her faith in Yahuwah. That's what makes a woman in the word of high value. See, it's that when we go through this here, high value in this text is not included in beauty. Again, high value woman in the world and a high value woman in heaven are two different things. Just like a high value man in the world and a high value man in heaven, two different things. The two different things. You can't intertwine the two. You are not a spiritually high value woman and be beautiful. Because what does the text say? A woman without discretion is like a jewel in a pig's snout. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't that what it say? Let's look at verse 12, right? She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. So again, what is the usefulness of this woman? She does not do anything disagreeable to her husband, meaning this woman is the epitome of femininity. Of course, when you look at the word for evil, it is Ra. She is not bad. She is not disagreeable. She is not malignant. She does not give pain. She does not bring misery. She does not bring unhappiness. She does not things that are of bad value, nor does she do anything hurtful or unkind in a vicious fashion. So, of course, when you see she won't do him evil, we go to thinking all these things, but really this is a peaceful, cooperative, feminine woman. She is not going to do anything to bring any unpleasantness to this man at all. When you turn around and you look at the text, this forth is Yahusha and to Yasharal. That's how we're supposed to be towards him, that we do him good and not evil, meaning we obey him and follow him. Let's continue. She says she is like she seeks wool, flax, and works willingly with her hands. Let's look at willingly. That's confess. That means she takes pleasure and delight in laboring. She's like the merchant ship. She bring her food from afar. She rides also while it is yet night and give meat to her household and a portion to her maids. See, we didn't have that conversation before because I know y'all was sitting back in the day. You look at it, them women had handmaids. And this virtuous woman was serving the handmaids. The handmaids weren't serving her. She got up early in the morning to feed them. Now, I'm not telling none of y'all that you need to get up at the crack of dawn. But if your husband require that, or that's what you need to do to get your duties done, then that's what you need to do. Stay off the phone, cut the TV off, take your butt to sleep, and get up and do your job. Because guess what? If he got to get up early in the morning to get that job done, he can't see like, well, I got to sleep in a little bit. No, he got to get up out there and go slay them bees. So if you saying you ain't got enough time to do what you need to do, that means you need to go to bed earlier to get up earlier. That's what that means, right or wrong. If it's stuff you need to do and you ain't getting enough stuff done in the middle of the day, what that means you're going to have to do? That means you're going to have to sacrifice pleasure and go to sleep at 9 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock. To get up at 4 o'clock instead of getting up at 7 o'clock. That just means on how important it is to you to accomplish what it is that you need to accomplish. That's what that means. You know what I'm saying? That I said, we talk about a woman, but men know they got to do that.
That's time management.
That's time management. You're managing your time wrong because you're chit-chatting and pity-patting on the phone about nothing. You watching TV. If you was watching something, at least it'd be something that cause you to be able to do your job better on whatever that is. But no, you're watching bald-headed skankers and hoes and movies and scrolling on your phone, laughing and sharing memes. Take your butt to sleep, nigga. Straight up and down. So guess what? The women of past generations ain't had no meat. They ain't had no Amazon Prime. They ain't had no Netflix. They barely had street life. What they went how went to sleep. I gotta get up in the morning. I gotta give Big Daddy the breakfast. Y'all around here letting these men go to work on bowls of cereal. It's disrespectful. If you got to stay home and you ain't got to work, the least you can do is get up and get this nigga a warm biscuit. Some nice eggs. Maybe he wants steak and eggs. That man don't want no cinnamon toast crunch. Straight up and down. If you ain't got to get up and go to work, the least you can do is be up before this nigga is up. When you know when this nigga get up and have him a decent breakfast made if that's what he desires. Meaning that he eat breakfast. See, I don't eat breakfast, so it don't matter. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna eat nothing. That nigga get up and cook a breakfast. That nigga gonna be bad. Before you a muffin, got a lot of food to eat because I'm out. You know what I'm talking about? I don't eat breakfast. I have no desire to do so. You know what I'm talking about? But if you know that man eat breakfast, you shouldn't be sending your husband out here to labor on your behalf on a bowl of cereal. It ain't right. You shouldn't send your children out the door on no bowl of cereal. Get them children a meal. So, like, there's a bowl. Not only that, you're giving them a bowl of sugar. Just go ahead and get a bag of Dixie Crystals and put it on the counter and say, knock yourself out, son. That nigga look like, nigga, what happened here?
Hey, be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. So you get something to cry about. You look the face. Mm-hmm.
No, seriously though, I ain't just saying be funny or to be busting nobody balls. But I'm talking about of a previous generation, and I'm talking about the woman that's being described in this verse. Because if she's rising up early, what is she rising up early for? To feed these people so they can go do their work. I know someone, I ain't doing all that. Get up, cook, nigga, no breakfast. But you want to cook them bills paid though. You want them bills to be cooked up and paid, but you don't want to cook nobody up no meal. That's disrespectful, selfish, and entitled. They ought to take you and roll you out the front door. Fend for yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Fend for yourself. Just because that's selfish. Because, and I'm telling you, I done told you this before, if you do these type of things, and like he's put it, and you got an upright man, he's going to reward you for that. He's going to reward you for that. You really think that a dude to sit back and look at, man, there's a lot of stuff dudes be want to do for their old lady, and y'all don't put in the work for them to do. You know what I'm talking about? There's a lot of stuff dudes be like, well, I do a lot for my old lady, but she lazy though. And I ain't rewarding that. I ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? No, man, that junk ain't cool, man. I just say, look, Muffin though, because her godmama was something else, but that's why everybody in the house was fat. I ain't never seen nobody cook like that, man, and from scratch. That woman had enough food to feed everybody in here 4 times, kids included. But I know it might sound like an exaggeration, but is it an exaggeration? No, I'm not. The one time I went over there, I said, well, there's too much food in here. Shoot, you lying to me? All them doggone grits and eggs and bacon I seen over there. It wasn't that many of us in there. Who was all in there? With her husband? How many kids? I don't remember 2 of them. So you got 5 kids, me, you, and her. That's like 8 people. Well, that was enough food in there to feed about 25, 30 people. A few times. Second, shoot, nigga, you could go, nigga, that was a buffet. That was a buffet. I can't say it every time, but I know the one time I said, look, Lord, I know everybody in here fat, but that food was busting. You could tell she took her time and she made it with love. I tell you that. You wasn't going to be disappointed. I tell you that. I'm like, shoot. And I was a greedy nigga back then, and I couldn't eat all that food. You know what I'm saying? But she from a different time. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all around here like this here, man. Y'all can't make a nigga no rye bread. Y'all giving niggas vegetables out of can, steaming them. You ain't bought no fresh vegetables. You ain't go to Sprouts. You ain't go to the farmer's market. You ain't got vegetables that got to be cooked in 48 hours or they gonna spoil. Y'all around here to my own feel like cooking, taking a nigga death to go. Yeah, death to go. But them women back in the day never talking about they ain't feel like cooking, let's go to McDonald's. That woman went in there and cooked whether she felt like it or not. Different time, that's all. Verse 16, she considered a field and buy it, and with the fruit of her hand, she planted a vineyard. So with that being said, that goes back to the confidence. That means that this man has enough confidence that this woman can make financial decisions. But notice that she didn't buy the vineyard and somebody else planted it. She planted it. I mean, this is an industrious woman. She girt her loins with strength and strengthened her arms. Look at what it said, right? You know what your loins is. That's the inward part. She girded her inward parts with faith, which caused her to strengthen her arms or her ability to do her work. Again, it's taking you back to a woman who trusts in Yahuwah. The number one aspect in a high-value spiritual woman is her faith in Yahuwah. If a woman does not have faith in Yahuwah, she is of no usefulness to anyone. She says she perceived her merchandise is good, her candle go not out by night. I mean, she late night grinding with it. Again, look at the key component, what you find which makes this woman useful. She is not lazy. As the statement says, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. And that's why a lot of women get caught up in a lot of folly because they don't have anything to do. And when you don't have anything to do, your mind will lend to chaos and you will pursue it. And the devil knows this. That's why he puts a lot of temptations in a woman's way. Because he knows you're more likely to participate. And a man is more likely to please the woman and strengthen her in her folly. Not realizing that. See, we were talking about that in the barbershop. Solomon got. How did he get got? Seeking to please his wives because they worship other gods. Because men's natural proclivity is to please their woman. Paul told you that in 1 Corinthians 7. When you're single, all you got to do is seek to how to please the Lord. When you're married, you got to seek to how to please your spouse. It's a different ballgame. It's a different avenue. Where we at verse 18, we already read that. Verse 19, she lay her hands to the spindle and her hands hold the distaff. Listen what it says. She stretched out her hands to the poor. So this is a woman who is empathetic, really truth be told, merciful and compassionate. She reached forth her hands to the needy. Let's look at poor and needy. Anai is the word, is the word for poor. That is somebody who is needy, who is afflicted. When we look at needy, that is Evion, and that is someone who is in need of deliverance or someone of a lower class. So this is a woman who does not look down on people who have less, that she seeks to help people who have less. So again, what makes a woman high value spiritually? Her trust in Yahuwah, her industriousness to work, her care and concern to serve her household, and the fact that she is merciful. Verse 21, she is not afraid of the snow for her household. All of her household are clothed with scarlet. It ain't never too cold. It's too hot outside. I can't go do nothing. It's cold out there. Oh, no, she ain't scared of that. Don't you know it's a verse say that about a man? The slothful man said there's a lion in the street. I'm going to get 8. I can't go out there and look for no job. There's lions out there. There's lions, tigers, and bears. I can't go out there. Don't think he ain't got nothing on the flip side for no. Look here, boy, Yahuwah hate lazy people, male or female, especially a man. Big old lazy nigga don't want to do nothing. What purpose? He know you ain't gonna do nothing for him. You ain't gonna do it for yourself. I know you ain't gonna do it for me. Lazy man, come on, man. Ain't nothing worse than a lazy nigga laying in the house farting, scratching himself, talking about maybe you gonna fix me some ravioli. Boy, you supposed to stop eating that when you were 6, boy. You still eating Champion, boy? Out the can? You want beef ravioli? Not homemade ravioli. He want it out the can. Plenty.
Top ramen
and spaghetti. I don't even think they make that. That junk death. Don't you? Boy, I ain't had spaghetti-o since 1988. What? I definitely ain't eat no top ramen. You bring me a couple noodles if you want to. Boy, I'm gonna kick you dead in your chin. Boy, I'd rather eat Debbie snacks before I eat top ramen. Boy. Straight up and down. Straight up. I don't want no doggone top ramen, nigga. We don't care. I live off oatmeal cream pies and Swiss rolls. Shoot, they taste better going down. Especially those Swiss rolls. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, nigga ain't nothing but some cake. I don't eat Little Debbie's no more though. That used to be my thing. Little Debbie. Everybody like Little Debbie's. John's like, yeah, I used to like Starburst. Oh, he's zebra cake. Zebra cake. Well, I remember the thing with 25 cents.
Cream pie.
Oatmeal cream pie slap. They slap hard. Let's go, man. Let's roll. So, listen to the next thing it says, right? Strength and she make fine linen. I skipped the verse. Her husband is known in the gates when he sit among the elders of the land. She make fine linen and sell it. Deliver girdles unto the merchant. So this is a woman who has a ability to create income. This is what makes her useful. Notice that everything that she does, who is it useful to? The family. The next thing it said, now this is where we get into the more intricate parts of her usefulness. Strength and honor are her clothing. So again, what is she clothed in? Faith. And it says she will rejoice in the time to come, which makes you remember what Yahushua said to Martha about Mary, that she's chosen the best part, and that part will not be taken away from her, because you will rejoice in the presence of your Elohim in due time. When we look at strength, it's O's, right? That's Ayin and Zayin. So she knows the fruit. She knows the sacrifice. That's where her strength comes from. So again, it take you back to faith. I think it's Kabod for honor. It's her daughter for honor. So she has splendor or ornaments. You got hate, dollar, and rods, and she has beheld the sacrifice of Yahusha. So she's honored in the fact that she honors the son by reason of honoring the father. You understand that? So that's why she's able to rejoice later. Look at the next thing. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. That means that this is a wise woman. Again, we talked about this before. The Proverbs say a prudent woman is from Yahuwah. So you are not a valuable woman if when you open your mouth, wisdom does not come out. If you don't have wisdom, you're worthless. As forth as heaven is concerned, as forth as being professing yourself to be a strong woman or a Kayil woman, a virtuous woman, if you will. Of course, you know that's Kokah. And of course, you know kindness is Kased. That means this woman is good. She is kind. She is faithful. So when you look at this here with the wisdom and the skill, she has elements of who Yahuwah is in her words. Because it says the law of her tongue is the law of kindness. That means when this woman opens her mouth, she has good things to say, kind things to say. That means she is a feminine woman. Let's go back to what I mentioned that earlier. You see, remember the segue? Were you verbally or emotionally abusive? Because then you could not be able to say that you were a godly or a virtuous woman, because the woman of value in heaven does not do that. She does not do that. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't do that. Say her children arise up and call her blessed, and her husband also, he praises her. See, that's where you sit back and you know, if you're really, really valuable to that man, and understand, right, the things that he mentioned are specific to her labor to the house. But now when we get on it, on being specific with each man, what he needs is contingent to him. So another man can't say that this woman is not valuable if this woman is fulfilling the tasks and requirements that her husband has for her. Because if she's adding usefulness to this man and he chooses to praise her for what she does, you can't do that. Unless she's able to do it. You know what I'm saying? If that man say, boy, my old lady do this, this, and this, that I ask her to do, or she do this, this, and this, and it's a benefit to him, then no other man can say that that woman is not useful. She is useful to him. Because it doesn't matter if that would be useful to you. That's not your woman. But if you just sitting around doing nothing, see, you're not top rank useful if all you do is cook and clean. Because I told you before, whores cook and clean. You know what I'm saying? Some of the most vicious, disagreeable, horrible women you can find will cook and clean a house. You know what I'm talking about? Have y'all met some horrible women who cook and clean? Were y'all friends with women who cook and clean that you wouldn't dare put one of your homeboys down with? Or you not shocked that she ain't got no man? Because I know y'all know several women who cook and clean and ain't got no man. If cooking and cleaning could get a man, then most of these women would not be single. Half of them can't cook no way. We heard that woman, him ask that woman, she talking about how many meals you can cook. This woman said 7. Of all the things that you could cook in the world, you can only cook 7 dishes and put them in rotation like you doing something. But you know what a man ain't gonna do? See, man, simple. So he ain't gonna say nothing in mind. Man, I'm finna go get something to eat. Man, I know this hoe finna cook this. Doggone. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? He already know. So when he come to the door, you like, you done ate today? You hungry, baby? I cooked. I ate a little early. Because he already know what you gonna make. He ain't want it. Right? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? You know that the running joke in these days and times is all they cook is Alfredo. You know what I'm talking about? But that's the thing. You wonder why this nigga always ate when he got to the house. That nigga knew you were finna make that jump, man. That man ain't want that. Straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? And you know why most of men do? Because Mom Dukes ain't never do us like that. We always have variety. She knew your favorite dish, and she would make sure at least once a week or twice a month that she'd make your favorite dish. And Mom Dukes went to work every day and cooked for a nigga. You niggas don't work and still won't cook for a nigga. That's some ugly junk right there. You know what I'm talking about? Mom Dukes went to work. Boy, my homeboy mama would work a 16-hour shift and come home and cook elaborate meals. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. I'm talking about she cooking Sunday type dinners on a Tuesday. Ain't nobody in there but Willie and Fat Boy. Like this here, he come on to the house. I'm there. He said, "Mom, do cook." I'm there.
Because you know it's love.
I already know it's love.
That's how niggas move the
Straight up, I already know it's love. Straight up, man. Y'all have mercy on us soul. Miss Connie used to hit a nigga like this here. She be like, I done cooked such and such. Y'all come over here. Stop trying to act shy, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because she was hood. She like this here. Go and put up that plate with shoes. You ain't got to push me. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're trying to be respectful. It's kind of like this here. Boy, I done took my time to make all this food one. You better go on ahead and load that plate up. Yeah, man. Well, my homeboy, Grandma Snoop hit me all the time. She was calling nigga donut. She feed a nigga fish though. She feed a nigga, I don't know what she's from. Ooh, niggas here, Miss Marie finna cook that fish, boy. I mean, shoot, Miss Mary, excuse me, boy, we over there. Miss Mary done cook that fish. On there. Boy, I'm telling you, man. Shoot. My mama work every day, boy. My dude still going there, hook something up, boy. Still hook something up, man. Like this here. You happy to not the same job. It ain't the same job. That ain't nothing. Go buy a recipe book. They got a whole network called food. Whole network called food. And you can get their recipes online for free. Listen what I'm telling you, y'all. For free. They don't even cost. You know why you don't want to? You scared you gonna mess it up. I think you say, shoot, mess it up then, because if I see a bowl of spaghetti one more time, you know what I'm talking about? One more time, you better figure something out. You better get me some braised bolognese in this hole. You better get me something. I'm just telling you what they're not gonna tell you. Because them niggas like this, man, I'm tired of this junk, nigga. Chicken breast and broccoli every night. I don't want this crap. You know what I'm talking about? See, they ain't gonna tell. Most men ain't gonna tell you that. They just gonna sit there and eat. You know what I'm saying? At least she made something. No, man, go on and tell her. I don't want this crap. You're gonna have to sharpen your skill. I work too hard to come home to this crap. I gotta stop at Chick-fil-A because I know this nigga gonna make Alfredo. I don't want Chick-fil-A. Yeah. I'm gonna tell y'all for one because the brothers they ain't gonna tell you that. When I say I ain't talking about just no men, I'm just talking about men. They ain't gonna tell you. You sit there thinking, boy, I be cooking for him, whipping it up. That nigga hate all them plates. I heard that woman say she only had 7 dishes. Nigga, I was offended, and she said it proud too.
You just started cooking.
What startup kid? She got a picture startup kid.
That's a week.
That's weed.
That's a week worth of food.
A week worth of food. Well, I ain't gonna tell you no lie, man. And I'm only saying this here because I remember better than think about it. My mama had a whole recipe book in the house. See, so mama ain't had the skills to cook because my mama wasn't a good teacher. She was not gonna take the time to show you how to see. This gonna let me do it. She ain't gonna tell you how to measure it. No. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That ain't no good teacher.
You didn't say that, she just said.
No, I ain't saying at the time. When I say she be like this here, just get on out the way. I'll do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And once you do it so many times, it's like splash.
I'm just telling you from my personal life, this here, man, this nigga can't teach me nothing.
No, but you do to teach to cook.
Because I follow recipes.
Yeah,
I can't follow this. Oh, just grab a little bit of this right here, but put it in there. I'm gonna do with that. Look at him, he a gentleman. Let you get off the floor. That's why you love him, huh? You lying.
Can't wait.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that my mama's not the best person to teach you how to cook. You know what I'm saying? You gotta already be cooking. If you don't know how to cook, that's not who you need to talk. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not gonna be able to help you out. We already know Sean a chef. You know what I'm talking about? So that boy said, hey, in my field, almost everybody got hoes. He said, I keep it a buck with my old lady. I already know that boy trained chef. He gonna be like, come on, Janae. That ain't gonna work. You gonna have to do better than that. That's rough if your husband can cook. I really can cook. You feel like some women got a husband can cook. She feel like, well, I ain't gotta cook. He know how to do it. I'm just telling you, man. What I mentioned is my mom had recipe books. My auntie had recipe books. Ain't none of y'all got no recipe book in your house. Pinterest don't count. Go by the book. Pinterest don't count. What happened if there ain't no more Pinterest? Pictures don't count.
Vegas, bro.
The only way something gonna count is that you got a digital book of recipes downloaded on your phone. Look at y'all defending Pinterest. Pinterest recipes. No. Not no screenshot. A book of recipes. Who book of recipes you got?
He said the author.
I'm talking about a book, a recipe book, not a recipe screenshot.
Who the author?
You got,
Yeah, it ain't times change. Still the same.
Oh man, that ain't lie. That nigga say even the chain can't rotate 7-8 meals every 2 weeks. He say she got a book, she got her stuff in.
I believe that. Definitely believe that. Lee Odom.
Lee Glover.
Okay.
She is of the house of cover. That boy paid for them rights.
I believe that.
Straight up. Come on, let's finish this up. We probably won't get to the hey boy. Say what's up. Are you gonna say what's up? I'm a boy. Say what's up. They do though. They got about in the chain game. They got about 10 to 12 different meals. They gonna serve you breakfast a little leaner. But if you take lunch and dinner, oh yeah, they rotate. You know what I'm saying? They definitely give you a difference.
When you talking about lunch and dinner?
Oh yeah, you talking about lunch and dinner? That definitely ain't a week worth of meal. Shoot, if you take doggone breakfast in the plate, that ain't a week worth. At the bare minimum, a woman should have 21 different meals that she can prepare. That's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
21. That's the minimum. That's the minimum. Like you said, man, shoot, depending on what you look in, boy, it's about 40, 50 different type of breakfasts you can prepare.
I said breakfast alone.
So there's all type of foods you can make. Come on, Proverbs 31 and 27. He says she looked well to the ways of her household. She eat not the bread of idleness. So another key component of a useful woman is she is not lazy. Let's look at idleness. How many of y'all feel like y'all lazy? At least you honest. Now the question is, why are you lazy? That's the question. Yeah, because if you say that I am lazy, then why are you lazy? Because the only way that you could eliminate the laziness is to identify the root cause of why you're lazy. You say get up early in the morning. You'll take your black behind to sleep. Or you can go to sleep. Because unless your butt in the air servicing your husband, what you up for? You're already in the bed. You got what? That's what I said. Unless you performing your wifely duties, then you ought to be asleep.
I think that's what she's saying. That's what she's doing. I think that's what she said. I don't know.
Your husband said he does not support that. No, we read it between the lines, and he said that line, the lie detector test determined that is a lie.
You don't get to that line.
I guess.
But we'll move on from that. We'll deal with that later. The word for idleness here is absolute, is sluggishness, and laziness. Verse 28, we read, I think her husband will rise up, call her blessed, her husband also praise her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but you have excelled them all. So that means there are many women who are strong, but you are above them. Favor is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman that fears Yahuwah, she shall be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own work praise her in the gates. And you see how he ended it? Give her the what? The fruit of her hands. That means reward her for what she is doing. And what did Yahushua say? That he will give every man according to his works. So if you put in the work and you show forth your usefulness, you'll be rewarded for it. If a woman is doing her job, reward her for her job. It's only right. You know what I'm saying? If you done laid out tenets that you desire for her to accomplish, and she has accomplished those, then reward that woman accordingly. Don't be no douchebag. But if you ain't doing nothing, you don't get nothing. Because guess what? If you go to work and you don't do your job, you think you finna get paid?
No.
So how you expect your husband to pay you? You ain't doing your job. What'd you say? But this job here, commission based.
You can't work the commission business. Salary.
Ain't no clock.
Job done. That's when you're done.
That's when you're done. That's right. You like this ain't commission. This is salary.
Customer satisfied. That's when you're done.
Customer satisfied.
You know how you're done. Finish like,
come on back over to Psalms 112 and 9. Let's begin to look at the process of a valuable man. He said he has dispersed, he has given to the poor, his righteousness is endured forever, his horn shall be exalted with honor. Let's look at dispersed. It is Pazar. It is the scatter or dispersed. Hey, Zayin Rosh. You can come on with it. Fruit, cut, harvest, plowing tool. What you doing, Grandma? Nothing over there but cheesing. That's what you're doing. The cheesing. So again, when we look at the usefulness of a woman, her number one thing which makes her of high value in heaven is her faith. Of course, it says that she's a woman who possesses wisdom. She's also a woman who is kind. She is also a woman who shows mercy and compassion to those who have less than. She looks to her household and she continually seeks to serve her household. And of course, she fears Yahuwah. And since she does all those things, you give her the fruit of her works. The word of the highest brings fruit. I can dig it, Sean. I can dig it. You know why I can dig it? Because that's what he say. He scatters or he disperses. He have dispersed. Let's look at giving. I think it's Nathan. And it is. Which is to give into set. No. You got noon, tau, and noon. So, of course, you see that the seed of Yahushua's covenant is everlasting life. So, again, I'm glad you mentioned that. The word of the highest brings fruit. Come over here to Ephesians chapter 4, if you would. No. Hold on, sir. Ephesians 4. Yeah. Ephesians 4 and 8. Ephesians 4 and 8. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. Now remember, right? He said, he that believed on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. This spake he of the Ruach HaKodesh, which he should give to those who believe on him, because Yahushua had not yet been esteemed. When we're looking at him being dispersed, the first thing that you look at of a man who is valuable in the text is almost similar to the things that make a woman valuable in the text. Because if we go back to the beginning of where we started at in verse 5, a good man shows favor or shows mercy, pity, and compassion. So the first thing that makes you valuable in heaven is to be compassionate. Let's take a look at something in Matthew 5, if you would. Hey. What's up? You going good? You cool? Straight? Okay. Matthew chapter 5. There we go. We can pick this up at verse 5 if you would. Hush. Gotta be quiet, son. Matthew 5:5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Okay, now you can slide. So look at this key thing, right? Going back to a good man shows mercy, pity, and compassion. One of the first things that make a man high value is his ability to be merciful. And you notice that he said he lends. So if a good man shows favor and lends, this is going back to the dispersal part, which we know that this is what Yahushua came and set to do. Let's come over here to John chapter 16. After John chapter 16, 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Now notice he said he's given to the poor. That's the same word that we read earlier. It is evion, and that is those who are in need of deliverance from trouble. Needy person. Someone who is subject to oppression and abuse. Shalom, my G. So when we look at subject, remember what I was talking about yesterday, last night? Envy not your oppressor. Do you remember what that translated to? When you got to the oppressor part? A man of violence. And the devil was what? A murderer from the beginning. He is a man of violence. And remember what it said about Yahushua? He went to go about killing all those who were what? Oppressed by the devil. So when we're looking at this from a spiritual aspect, we're looking at it from the aspect that he is coming to disperse to those who are subject to the oppression of the adversary. John 16 about, I think about page. It's not. John chapter 16, man, you can pick it up at verse 4. Some of this probably going to carry into Wednesday because we're running long. He said, nevertheless, I tell you the truth. I'm sorry, I said verse 4. But with these things I have told you, that when the time shall come, you may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me, and none of you ask me, where go you? Because I've said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your heart. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is expedient to you for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. If I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin and of righteousness and of judgment, of sin because they believe not on me, of righteousness because I go to my Father and you see me no more, of judgment because the prince of this world is judged. I have yet many things to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Ruach of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth, for he shall not speak of himself, but whosoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. He shall esteem me, for he shall receive of mine, and will show it unto you. So when we look at this part of Psalms 112, you can come back to Ephesians chapter 4, of the dispersion, which Ephesians 4 is quoting Psalm 68, that he took captivity captive and went on high and gave gifts unto men, even to the rebellious also, and how he loaded us daily with the issues of salvation or the issues of life. We've looked at Psalm 68 a few times. So I want you to think about that in the regards that a man who is valuable in heaven is a man that seeks to free people from oppression and abuse. Mainly not just the oppression and abuse that people get from men, because let's just be honest with it. There's not a single solitary man on this earth that can free black people from the oppression and abuse of the United States of America. You don't have the power, you don't have the weaponry, you don't have the wherewithal. Because at the end of the day, who freed you from Egypt? It sure wasn't Moses. Moses got credit for leading you out. Because that's what he did. Did he free you or did he lead you out? Because the text tells you that Yahuwah said, I freed you from the house of Pharaoh, from the house of bondage by my right hand. Is that not what he said? Did Moses go up there and take Pharaoh out? Did Moses take out Pharaoh's firstborn cattle and men? That was Yahuwah that did that. Now, there could be a man who could lead you out, but ain't going to be no man take them down. Let me ask you this here. Who took down Nebuchadnezzar? Yahuwah took down Nebuchadnezzar. had him down there eating grass. You know what I'm talking about? Now, this is to make sure that you know that you give credit to whom credit is due. Because the only person who can lead you out of the oppression and abuse on a governmental level is Yahuwah. Ain't no man gonna do it. Ain't no man gonna do it. That's not gonna happen. You know why that's not gonna happen? Who knows why that's not gonna happen?
Boasting himself and niggas praise him.
You're gonna give praise to that man and not to you. That's the only reason why. Ain't no other reason than that. Remember what he said about during the time of Gideon? I remember how many people went out to fight the Philistines during the time of Gideon? 300. Why did he say he only sent up 300? He told you explicitly why he only sent 300 men. Yeah, then he would say, hey, exactly. You would have said you did it by your own might and power. Hey, little girl. That's what you're not going to do. I don't know what you're crying for, and I don't care, but don't bring that over here. After you who will bust his scalp. Oh, that was a different. That was what is his name? Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar was dead when you looked at when you got to Daniel chapter 6. He talking about the dude that didn't want him Daniel to die when he had to throw him in the lion's den. That was Darius. He had to sign that. He had to sign that decree, so he couldn't go against his own words. Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar was dead at that point. But Nebuchadnezzar wasn't, he was on his own different type of time, but he started feeling himself. That's in Daniel chapter 4. And you had to bust his head down, making me grass.
Oh, Nebuchadnezzar. Sure.
He was. Yeah, he was.
I thought he was on.
He did. Nebuchadnezzar did that to them. But he was talking about with Daniel. No, Nebuchadnezzar was with that.
No, I was just saying.
With Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yeah, he was all in.
I mean, I thought all of them was in the same time.
They were in the same time period, but they weren't ruled over by the same people. Nebuchadnezzar had been removed by the time that happened to Daniel, and Persia had defeated Babylon and took over. And then King Darius was born. Back to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 9. He said, now that he ascended, what is it? But also that he descended first into the lower parts of the earth. He that descended is the same, also that ascended up above, far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors, and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach. That is correct, sir. I would agree with you. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, I definitely would agree with you. 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Let's look at this here as forth as him dispersing to the poor, or dispersing to those who need salvation, dispersing to those who are subject to oppression and abuse. First Corinthians chapter 12, I picked up at verse 5. And this is something that we done talked about before. Do y'all recall when I asked y'all about that? About what gift that you would desire? See, the reason why I asked you about that even then was to provoke you to do the things necessary in order to get it. See, gifts are given to parties who deserve to be given a gift. See, Adam deserved to be given a gift because he was the son of Elohim. It was not good for the son of Elohim to be alone. So he gave him the woman as a gift. See, I told you that a long time ago, a woman is not a prize, because a prize is something that you win. She was a gift to assist and be the companion of the man. And that is different. You see, because if you win a prize, you have to put in work for a prize, which means you have to prove your worth for the winning of the prize. No man should be proving his worth to a woman for the right to marry her. Only because when you look at it from the transcribes of heaven, that's not what happens. That's not what happens, because the value that he is extending is greater than the value that she is extending. So it really would be imperative on her to prove how valuable she is to him and what he has going on. Because, see, you have to prove your value to Yahuwah. Yahuwah don't have to prove no value to you. Why? Because his value was already made manifest. If you can't see a value of a man that you're dealing with, then you ain't got no business dealing with him. Because if you see that he's a value, that means you want to have a desire to add on to what he is doing. And if you don't see any value, see, this is stuff again, that stuff your daddy should have taught you, because that means a lot of y'all wouldn't have had penises in you that ain't had no business going in. Because no, I'm telling you this just being up, you would have recognized that this person didn't have any usefulness in him for you to be joining yourself to him to even allow him to enter into your body. A lot of these men in here knew that they were not useful to anyone, and they had no business putting their penis in certain women that they possibly could have impregnated. You know what I'm talking about? See, these things, see, you like this here, but your daddy supposed to told you that. What you messing with this bum broke nigga for? What is you talking to this type? If he don't have this, this, and this, what you took your panties off for him for? Matter of fact, how did your vagina get moist for this boy? But see, that make you uncomfortable because you not used to nobody talking to you like that. Because your homegirl like, be cute though. You know what I'm saying? That's asinine. And that's why only 1 in 4 of you get married, and why 70, 80% of you have kids and you're not married. That's how that happens. Because ain't nobody gonna tell you that boy is useless. Keep your drawers on. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, if you ain't married, keep your drawers on. You know what I'm talking about? See, nobody gonna tell you that. See, nobody gonna tell that young boy, if your paper ain't right, boy, just keep your penis in your pants. Only pull it out to pee, my nigga, and take a shower. Don't pull your meat out. Keep it in your drawers, boy. Because you could end up living a miserable life. Because you know what our law tells us to do. If you went and laid with a woman, what was you gonna have to do? You were gonna have to marry. You just couldn't lay with him and then be like this here and be like, oh shoot, I'm gonna go lay with another. But they didn't play them type of game. If that woman hadn't been sullied, you had to make that woman your wife. Now you done with it because you thought, oh, she looked good. Now you married to a woman in your own life. But as Kevin Samuels also mentioned, I done told y'all this in the past too. A lot of y'all get messed up because y'all want to be attracted and love the nigga you with versus being with somebody and having something going on. You want to have feelings and emotion. Yeah, I got to be attracted to him. And that sounds good when you're young. But when you get old, you better get a nigga who can tolerate you. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. See, most of y'all ain't know. Y'all got married young. You know what I'm saying? You're still in your 20s, so you okay. You know what I'm talking about? But once you talking about 30, 32, 33, 34, we don't need to worry about love or attraction. You get a nigga who want to deal with you. Take what you can. You worry about. It's like that nigga Titus here. He said love is a young woman's game. You know what I'm talking about? That's early 20s. That's a young woman's game. You can't be 35 talking about you looking for love. Maybe you missed that boat. That jump in took sale. They about to land in Singapore right now. You missed that. You know what I'm talking about?
That's bars,
anything. Yeah. You missed that boat. You better get on. You better get on that plantoon and ride.
jet ski.
You talking about you want a man with a Mercedes? You better ride in that 14.
That was a canoe. It moved on it.
It moved on it. It's gonna get you there. You got a companion. You got somebody to spend some time with. You got somebody to watch your TV shows with. Shoot, you can't be talking about you looking for love. You 35 years old. Baby, love don't live here no more. Get you a man. It don't live here no more. I'm talking about he got to be attractive. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't attractive. That's another thing too, man. Y'all getting old. Y'all have no children. Hey, man, put them hot dogs down and hit that gym, man. Hit that gym, man. Hit that gym, man. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Right now, you ain't got to answer out loud. Well, if you weigh anywhere close to your nigga, you need to go to the gym. And you need to be at the I ain't being funny.
What about lies?
I'm being dead serious.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm talking about if you are 20 to 30 pounds close to the weight of your man, boy, you need to get on a diet plan and a gym regimen last week. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down now. Because at the end of the day, if you out of shape, you basically telling him that's what he deserves, is an out of shape woman. And I've been told you this here, because I told D this many times. I ain't find D like that. Lying to me. You know what I'm talking about? Well, if I ain't find you big, boy, I'm not keeping you big. You're going to lose some weight. Well, if I got to put cocaine in your food, boy, you're losing some weight. But if I ain't find you big, I'm not accepting it. All brothers can do what you wish. I ain't find you big, I'm not with it. If I wanted a big woman, I would have went and got a big woman. I don't want no big woman. That's why I got a slender woman. She gonna stay. You know what? And the reason why I also feel that way is because I try to keep myself in shape. So I'm not with it. Now, if you don't keep yourself in shape and you feel like, hey, I'm gonna let myself go, shoot, she can let herself go too. But at the bare minimum, you should want to look the best you could for your man. Because see, thankfully, you in the word and you feel like you ain't got to worry about that. But guess what? If you wasn't in no word, well, nigga be like this here, man, she around here looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, baby around the corner, been blinking them out. Let her blink one more time. And you wondering why. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? You got hot dog packs on your back. And I'm talking about beef franks. And you think that man's pleased with that? Same way if he came in the house one day and he can't see his penis because his stomach that big, you ain't satisfied with that. That don't get you going. The big boy season, okay. You can say it could be 22 at night. I don't want that. He come around here all greasy, breathing hard, titties bigger than yours. You ain't turned on by that.
Everybody want to read Ross.
I ain't gonna do that. D stay working now. She staying now. Head lifting. Body. She do complexes. She do heavy work. You know what I'm saying? Keep it lean. She like, so I'm starting to see abs. See him, baby. See him. I said, I got to shoot. You got nothing to do with that there. Shoot. Stay fit. Stay fit. Stay fit. That's what. Let up and down. 1 Corinthians 12 and 4. Shoot. I tell you what, to tell you what God loves. Shoot. Like with it. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta keep it tight, keep it right. But guess what? You keep gaining weight and you keep having babies. I'm trying to tell you, you're gonna look like a lunch lady. You're gonna be looking at yourself, and I ain't being funny now because I got a friend of mine that had a problem because you're gonna end up getting depressed. Because you're gonna look at yourself and you're gonna be like, what happened to me? And that junk gonna make you sadder, and then you might start eating more because you're feeling bad about yourself, because you don't look how you used to look, because you weren't proactive with your health and your fitness. Straight up and down. Now, I'm not that I crack a lot of jokes, but I'm being dead serious in that regard. Because I got a friend of mine that's where they at. Like they depressed. That junk make them feel bad because they done gained a lot of weight. And it ain't even about getting or keeping no man. They looking at themselves, and then it causes health problems, diabetes, strokes, heart attacks. You know what I'm talking about? Possible cancers, depending on how bad your diet is. And the bigger you get, it can definitely put you at a high risk when it's time for you to have a baby, because your body is not supposed to be under that type of stress when it's already under stress from carrying excess weight. You know what I'm saying? It's already dangerous enough for you to have a child because, yes, your body is made for it, but yes, you can die while you're having one. So you want to be in optimal health, and the more optimal health and fitness you have, the easier it is for you to shed the weight from the churn. Because some of y'all ain't carrying no baby weight. You carrying hungry weight. You're blaming it on the churn. 1 Corinthians 12 and 4. He said, now there are diversity of gifts, but the same Ruach. There are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. There are diversities of operations. It is the same Elohim will work all in all. The manifestation of the Ruach is given to every man to profit with all. For one is given by the Ruach the word of wisdom. To another the word of knowledge by the same Ruach. To another faith by the same Ruach. To another the gifts of healing by the same Ruach. To another working of miracles. To another prophecy. To another discerning of Ruach. To another diverse kinds of tongues. To another the interpretation of tongues. So what we're looking at is you seeing that he has went and he has dispersed to the poor. He has given out a multitude of spirits for a multitude of purposes. And of course, it ends it later on in that verse that everybody does not have the same gift. I'm going to tell you, out of all the gifts mentioned, that I just mentioned, which one do you think that you would want to have the most if you could only choose one? I would agree. If you couldn't choose any other gift that he could disperse to you, I would recommend that you choose faith, because faith will get you everlasting life. Now, of course, you would have to have faith to get some of the others. See, you got some people who have wisdom but ain't really got no faith like. But remember what he said, right? Let's come on back this minute, right? His righteousness endured, you know what? Because we had 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'll pick this back up on Wednesday. So, hallelujah for Yahushua the word. We'll come back and deal with the men part, because the men's value is slightly different. Because the man's value does not just benefit his household, but it can benefit everyone around him. A woman's value is more so always going to benefit her household. And then, of course, when she comes across those who are without, she can be a benefit to them. But again, the number one hallmark which makes a woman valuable is her fear of Yahuwah and her trust in Yahuwah. Because in turn, it causes the man to be confident in her. If a man knows he can be confident in his wife, and that is something that he doesn't have to be concerned with, that makes his goings and movings and dealings a lot easier. Because I don't have to worry about her. If a man doesn't have confidence in his woman, there's things that he has to be concerned with that can definitely affect his ability to navigate to do other things. Because he's going to be worried about her. Because I can't trust that she's going to be able to do this and do that. But you are willing, man. We'll pick it up next week. I bless y'all out the house. I'll leave it in there. So I appreciate your time. Again, we keep on rolling with it. We almost at the conclusion of Psalms 112. But a lot of things contained in it. We done parsed it out over the last 3-4 times. We done went over the verse. And then we'll move on to something else. So, you who are willing till that time. What may I do for you, Muffin? Man.